Welcome, everyone. On behalf of Crime Stoppers of York Region, I'd like to welcome you here for the 5th annual Crime Stoppers of York Region Student Symposium. My name's Dave Forster. I'm a volunteer with Crime Stoppers of York Region, and I'm the president of the Ontario Association of Crime Stoppers. A special announcement, today is the International Stand Up to Bullying Day. If you see anybody wandering around wearing a pink shirt, that's a recognition of this special day, and we wanted to recognize that here in York Region as well. Bullying and cyberbullying especially have been issues that we've dealt with at Crime Stoppers over the last couple of years. Anybody that's been to a symposium here with us in the previous years would have had that experience, and it's something that we take very seriously. I would like to take this opportunity to recognize, and it's a little dark, but some people that are here with us today. Specifically, we have a number of volunteer board of directors with Crime Stoppers of York Region. Maybe if those board members are here, they would just stand up and sort of wave and be recognized. I can see some in the back waving, and I guess the first question I have today is, does anybody know what a symposium is? No ideas? Well, we're going to treat a symposium today as a day off school, probably. Not really. It's an opportunity for us to get together and to share some ideas. Why are you guys here today? Anybody know, other than a day off school? That's right, that's right. Well, our theme here is Be a Hero. And today we hope we're going to show you how you can stand up to be a hero in your community and in your school. We hope to share with you some ideas, some knowledge, some options, and we're going to mix it in with some fun. To start off today's events, I'm going to first introduce to you the chair of Crime Stoppers of York Region, Dave Mountain, and Dave's going to come up and tell you a few words about Crime Stoppers. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this year's school symposium. Thank you for taking the time to be here today. Before I give you some statistics for 2013 for York Region, I thought it would be neat to kind of give you a bit of history of how the Crime Stoppers organization was formed. And for that, we would have to go back to 1976, where a detective, Canadian-born detective, by the way, by the name of Greg McAleese, was working for the Albuquerque, New Mexico Police Department. And as a young detective, he was assigned a case, it was a murder case of a young gas station attendant who was gunned down after being robbed. And the reason he was gunned down was purely to eliminate him as a potential witness. And there was very little information on this crime. And McAleese was a little frustrated. And he understood the apathy of people coming forward if they had information, but he believed that somebody saw something, because at the end of the day, the gas station was on a very busy road, and it was middle to late afternoon, so he believed somebody saw something. And so what he did is he went to a local cable station, and he did a crime reenactment. And he had that reenactment aired over a 24-hour period. And he took $300 of his own money, and he put that money up to anyone who would come forward with information. And lo and behold, within 2 weeks, several tips came forward. One person remembers seeing a vehicle fleeing at a high rate of speed from that particular location, which resulted in the arrest and conviction of the people responsible. Realizing that he may be onto something, he decided to get a group of prominent citizens together, form a board of directors, and start this program, which we have today. Today, the program runs in over 60 countries. There are 1,200 programs worldwide, 108 programs in Canada, 38 of which run in Ontario alone. In York Region, we are one of the 38, clearly. Last year, as a result of tips coming into Crime Stoppers, there were over 1,500 tips that came into the Crime Stoppers program. About 900 by the tip line, 1-800-222-TIPS. About another 400 or so came in through the internet, 1-800-222-TIPS.com, and about 99 through the text. And when you're texting to the program, you text to crimes, and you start the text with the word York. That resulted in 58 arrests, 153 charges being laid, $139,000 in stolen property recovered, $150,000 in illegal drugs taken off the streets of York Region, and over $13,000 in tip money was awarded. The Crime Stoppers program is run by volunteers, from the board of directors down to the people who put and help us put these events together. I'd like to thank those volunteers. I'd like to thank the principals and vice principals and you, the students, for attending and helping with today's program. And remember, this is your day. Take advantage of it. And remember, together, we can make a difference. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. As Dave mentioned, Crime Stoppers is a community-based volunteer program. Very often, people look at Crime Stoppers as a police initiative, but actually it's a board of directors run from members of your own community. And we partner with the media, and we partner with York Regional Police. I'm very happy today to have, and the first time that I've introduced him in his newest role, is Deputy Chief Andre Crawford of York Regional Police.
Good morning, and thank you very much for that introduction, and welcome to this year's Crime Stoppers of York Regional Region School Symposium. It is dark out there, isn't it? I know I have some officers that are here as well too, and I know Trevor Hanko and Trevor Brown are the Crime Stoppers officers, but if there's other officers in the room, I'd just like them to stand up and recognize them, because they are an important part of what we do. So. Please feel free to talk to them and pick their brains, because they have all kinds of information. So it is indeed a pleasure for me to be here to bring greetings on behalf of York Regional Police. And as was mentioned, this is a partnership. It's not a police initiative. It is the York Region, Crime Stoppers of York Region. It's especially nice for me to be here with a couple of my friends that I've worked with in the past. One of them being Superintendent Michael Nizello of York Catholic District School Board. Michael. And I'd also like to especially welcome Principal of Safe Schools for York Region District School Board, Victoria Campoli. And of course, you've heard from Chair Dave Mountain from Crime Stoppers. Thanks for having me here, Dave. And a round of applause for our Master of Ceremonies, the Ontario Association of Crime Stoppers Director and Student Program Chair Dave Forster. So, as was mentioned, this year's Crime Stoppers theme is Be a Hero. With that being said, I would like to take this opportunity to let you know that you do not need to wear a cape, and I'm a Batman guy myself. You don't have to wear a cape, you don't have to have superpowers, you don't even have to have a badge to be a hero. Each and every one of you can be a hero with the right mindset and the willingness and desire to do good. This year, I urge you to be a hero by making a call if you know anything about a crime, or by just doing everyday acts of kindness for your peers. Do the right thing. If you're not comfortable reporting an incident to school staff or parents, then call the Kids Help Phone for advice or report it anonymously to Crime Stoppers. We have the best chance of solving issues in our community by working together, but you have to make that call to help us out. Working together gives us the added benefit of sending the important message that crime will not be tolerated, not just by the police, but by every single hero here today. Because of this teamwork with the community, Crime Stoppers of York Region has grown dramatically since its inception in March of 1986. Now, you've heard some of the statistics for last year. Here are some of the statistics for Crime Stoppers since 1986. So since Crime Stoppers of York Region has begun, it's resulted in 2,732 arrests, 7,168 charges laid, 2,926 cases cleared, more than $29 million worth of stolen property recovered, and more than $101 million worth of illegal drugs seized. That is quite an accomplishment when you really look back to how it all began. The success of Crime Stoppers is a testament to how we have been heroically reinventing a safe future, one tip at a time. So thank you once again for making this possible. Whether preventing crime or solving it, Crime Stoppers continually helps in keeping York Region one of the safest communities in Canada. It's an accomplishment we can all take pride in. And it's a testament to the positive outcomes that results when living the motto of deeds speak. Thank you and enjoy today's symposium.
Thank you, Deputy. An event like today takes a great deal of planning, a lot of execution, and a lot of support. I would like to especially thank the York Regional Police Appreciation Night Committee for their generosity to allowing us to bring everybody here today. In addition to that, the contributions of both the Public School Board and the Catholic School Board are invaluable. I remember about 6 years ago, I think, when we first pitched the idea of holding a student symposium, and it was a novel concept at the time, and to see where it's come to today is just fabulous. And a reason for that is the contributions that are made by our school representatives. We have a symposium committee, Aldrin, Eugene, Susie. If those members are here, maybe just wave your hands as well. These are the ones that represent your schools. I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge the many volunteers as well that help us bring this about today. When you checked in the lobby, there was lots and lots of people out there to give you some help, direction, hand out good things. And those people are to be applauded as well for their contributions. As I mentioned, without the school board's participation, we couldn't be here. I'm first going to introduce from the York Region District School Board, Victoria Campoli, and Victoria is the principal of Safe and Caring Schools and a great friend to our symposium.
Good morning. I'm honored to bring greetings from Ken Thurston, our director, who was unable to be here today. And I'm very, very pleased to see in the audience students from my former school, Emily Carr Secondary School, and students from my current school, Access, who are sitting up in the back. It's a very great pleasure for me to see you represented here today. So I was thinking, what am I going to say to these wonderful young people that might have a lasting impact? And so I thought about myself and my two big roles in life. I mean, we all have many, many roles, but I have my professional role and my personal role. So I'm going to start with my professional role as a principal of Emily Carr Secondary School, principal of Newmarket High School in the past, and now, quite daunting title, principal of Caring and Safe Schools. And I reflect on those titles that I have, and I realize that in order for me to be effective in my role in providing a caring and safe environment in an individual school or in the board, I absolutely need the help of all of the members of the school community, which is first and foremost the students, the staff, the teachers, the social workers, the educational assistants, the secretaries, the caretakers, every single person that walks through that building. Our parents, who are an integral part of the work that we do with and for you, our students, and the larger community, our business partners, the police, many, many community members, too many to mention. And without them, we wouldn't be able to have anything that would bring us to the hope of caring and safe environments, schools, and communities. So we all have a role to play in that, creating that community that we want. And that's what today is about. What role can we play? What role can you play? And what role can you encourage others to play? Because it's not just about what you do, but what you can motivate and inspire others to do as well. So that's my first piece. And then, I'm a grandmother. And when I saw the write-up for today, Be a Hero, I immediately thought of my 5-year-old grandson. His name is Adam. And when we talk about heroes, and Deputy Chief Andre Crawford said his favorite is Batman. I think we all have a favorite. And I thought about Adam, and I thought, what does he think about heroes? And I think what heroes mean to us is an opportunity to have hope and to have optimism. Because when we look at a hero, we think that they are going to be able to make things better. They're going to be able to make the bad go away. They're going to be able to make the world a better place. They're going to be able to get people to come together in the spirit of doing what's good for the larger community. And so, as a hero, we can all be heroes every single day as an act of kindness, as Deputy Chief Crawford suggested earlier. We can all be heroes by providing hope and optimism when it's needed most to the people that we live with each and every day, in our schools, in our communities, and in our homes. And that's what I would ask you to think about today. How can you provide that hope and optimism to the people around you? Thank you, and have a great day.
Thank you, Victoria. Equally a great friend to the symposium, and I think his title gets longer every year that he's here. I'm not sure, it seems like it anyway. Mike Nasello, and Mike's the Superintendent of Education, Secondary Panel, and Safe Schools from the York Catholic District School Board. Mike?
Thanks very much. Good morning, everyone. I'm delighted to be here and to bring you greetings on behalf of our school board, and especially Patricia Preston, our director, who also could not be here today. Victoria, you took my grandson's story, so I can't do that one. I want to leave you with a couple of thoughts. First of all, my thanks to you for stepping up and being willing to be here to experience what this day is about, to learn more, to find out what you have within you that can help lead new directions and safe directions in your schools. So thank you for that. And thanks to all who organized, and I know there's a number of people from our board as well as the York Region Board and the York Regional Police and the Crime Stoppers organization. These things don't just happen. They come about with a lot of hard work and a vision that we can make our schools, our communities safer and better places. So thanks to all of you. Two thoughts I want to leave you with. The first, I've said to many groups of students that I've spoken to that our schools are basically comprised, the numbers vary, but 3 or 4 administrators and roughly 75 to 100 staff members and 1,000 to 1,400 students. Who's got control over how safe the school is? The students do. You're by far the biggest group, and you are the people who are making decisions, you and your peers who make the decisions every day, every moment. I will do this, I won't do that, I will say this, I won't stand for that. And so we depend on you. We're in partnership with you. And the adults in your community, we teach, we lead, we try to establish parameters and guidelines, and we respond. But at the end of the day, you decide. And so those decisions are critical. What you choose to do, what you choose to speak up about is what ultimately keeps your school, your community, a safer and better place. So I want to encourage you in that and thank you for stepping up and for being here, and tell you, you can be leaders, you can be heroes, even with a word, with a phrase, just by caring enough to say, I don't like this shouldn't be going on, and I want to do something about it. The second thing is, and it's funny, this gentleman has come to my mind every time I've been here on this stage at this event, and he's a man who's now in his early 80s, who I've come to know, and I consider him a friend. His name is Max Eisen, and I met Max because I heard him speak, and the reason I heard him speak is that he's a survivor of the Holocaust. Max was arrested in Hungary when he was about 15 years old in 1944, and he spent more than a year in the infamous Auschwitz. When you listen to Max speak, it's somewhat miraculous that he survived at all, because he did come close to death, but not only that he recovered, and that he lives his life with such hope and optimism for the future, for his own family, and for the communities in which he lives. And he says to people when he meets them, he tells about his experience, but he often tells about the question that always haunts him, and that is, where was everybody else? Why did no one speak up? How could my neighbors, my friends, the people I went to school with, not have missed me, not have said anything about this sudden disappearance and what was happening in communities all over Europe at that time? That event in history is a stark reminder of what can happen when good people remain silent. You are here today because you're good people. And so I challenge you never to remain silent and to set an example for yourselves and for your peers and your communities of what it means to be a hero, to step up, to take notice, and to speak out. Thanks for being here. Congratulations, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Mike. As chair of the student committee, one of the exciting things that I get to participate in each year is our poster competition. Many of you here may have been exposed to it. Some of you may have sent in a submission. This year we had approximately 160 applicants send in what their thoughts were on being a hero in your community. We don't pick winners because every submission was fabulous. But from that large group, we wanted to narrow it down and pick 3 posters that we felt delivered the message that we were looking to deliver this year with our theme of Be a Hero. I'm going to introduce, along with Deputy Chief Crawford, the winning submissions that we've received. These were first introduced at our January press conference, and the recipients there were acknowledged and received a small token of our appreciation at that same time. I'm not sure if the winners are all with us here today, and this is in no specific order. As I said, there is no first, second, third. These were all our winning submissions. Our first submission was Daniel Kumanev, and Daniel's from St. Jean de Brébeuf Catholic High School. I know Daniel couldn't be with us here today, but Deputy Chief Crawford and I will just show everybody his poster. Are you going to show them? Oh, okay, great. Our second winning submission was a joint effort, if you will. Milan Tumazu and Alicia Mehta. I'm not sure if they're with us here today. If they are, could you come down onto the stage and join us? They're with Cardinal Carter Catholic High School. All right, great. Which one is theirs? Wrong one? I don't know which one. We've already had a sneak preview of our next winner. Somebody tricked us and put them out of order. From St. Brother Andre Catholic High School, Anthony Moss. In anticipation of next year, we'll be doing the same poster competition again with our new theme, and we encourage all of you to work within your schools and send a submission in. As I said, we do offer a small reward for the winning recipients, so it's a great compliment to the work that these young people have done for us. We will be using these posters throughout the year. They'll be displayed on our website and many other places as well, and we thank every one of you for your submissions. So, with that, we're going to move on to our next section of the agenda. I'm going to thank all our speakers for joining us here today. They all have places to be and things to do, but they've taken time out of their day to join us, and I'd like to thank them for that. So, good. We're ready now to move to our first presenter. We're very happy today to have with us Erin Hodgson. Erin's a recent graduate from the University of Toronto, where she studied psychology. She's a young person with lived experience of mental illness who is now living in recovery. She shares her personal journey as a way to humanize the topic of mental health. And she is thrilled to work with the Jack Project and to share her experiences and empower young people and inspire positive change. I'd like everybody to join in welcoming Erin Hodgson this morning.
Awesome. Thanks so much, guys. It's amazing to have so many people here today. So, like everyone's been saying, today is going to be a day of really exploring some important topics together and getting inspired to unleash that hero that lives inside all of us. So, my name's Erin, as they said. There I am. So there's me graduating from university last year and me sharing my story at one of many events. And I'll tell you a secret, I am terrified of public speaking, no matter how many years I do it. But I think it's really, really important to talk about it, and that's why I'm here. And I'm here, like they said, representing the Jack Project. So we are an advocacy organization, and we're devoted to raising awareness of mental health and engaging all young people in this incredibly important discussion. And the Jack Project is the legacy of a young man named Jack Windler, who, when he was 18 years old, lost his life to suicide in his first year of university. And our mission is to end the silence that surrounds mental health and to help young people get that help and support they need when and where they need it. So today's discussion may get a bit intense at times. This can be a difficult topic. And I want to emphasize that at the Jack Project, we're not professional counselors, but we do have an awesome support team here today of some nurses who are there to talk to you if anyone needs a break and needs to talk. So if I could get them to stand up, they're at the back of the room there. So wave to everybody. Awesome. So if anyone feels like they're just really overwhelmed, they need to talk to somebody, get something off their chest, we got these awesome people here for you. So at the Jack Project, we inspire young people to take action in their schools and to take care of themselves and their friends. And one example of taking action is that we have this annual, totally student-organized mental health summit called Unleash the Noise. And this is actually happening in 2 days, so it's coming up. But for next year, keep it in mind. And this is students from across Canada who are getting together to brainstorm the most amazing ways that we can bring this conversation of mental health back to our schools and make it interesting and relevant to everybody. And speaking of making things interesting and fun, and the fact that I want this to be a conversation and not just me talking, we're going to do something a little different today, a little cool. So who here has a cell phone on them right now? Like a ton of people. Okay, awesome. So today we're going to introduce something really cool that we haven't done before. So this is the first time, you guys are the first time we're going to try this live polling. So during the presentation, there may be a few questions that come up where you can share your thoughts and your opinions by voting. And you're going to be texting your vote to this number. So 37607. So pretend that's like a new friend and you're starting a new message. And so when you say who the message is going to, it's that number. And I'll give you an example of what a question looks like. So super easy question is, what grade are you in? So you'll see the question is at the top, and the answers you can choose from are on the left side. So choose whatever grade you're in. Maybe you're doing a victory lap, so an extra year. That's okay too. You can answer that. But what you text is what's on the right. Oh, people are doing it already. There you go. It works. Yes. Awesome. So you can see it adding up. So I'll give you guys 30 seconds or so. Awesome. All right, it's working. All right. Okay, let's take 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. Great, I'm so happy it works because we got lots more cool questions. So, looks like we got representatives from pretty much every grade here today, so that is awesome. All right, so we're going to move on. And before we dive into the topic of mental health, I just want to get some idea from you guys about how familiar you are with this topic right now before we even get into it. So, what's your understanding of what mental health is right now? Do you feel like you know a lot? Do you know a bit? You sort of get the idea? Or maybe it's not something you understand that well, so you would say not much. All right. Cool. So it looks like some people know quite a bit, most people know a little bit, and a few people it might be a new topic, and that's okay. That's why we're here to talk about this. So we'll take a couple more seconds. All right, I think that gives us a good idea. So let's dive right into it. What is mental health? Well, let's think about it this way. You know, we all know what it's like to feel physically healthy, you know, to just feel great, you know, have energy and you can do all the things you want to do. You're not in pain. You're just feeling good. And we all know what it's like to be sick too, you know, to just have a headache, or maybe you have the flu and you just feel nauseous and in pain and you can't get out of bed. You know, we all know what that's like. But we seem to be able to talk about our mental health. You know, we'll say our physical health. We talk about our physical health. Like we'll say, you know, oh, man, I was so sick last week, or I got such a headache, or I've got a doctor's appointment, I need to leave class early. So it's okay for us to talk about that, it seems. But there's an equally important part of our health that we generally don't talk about. And of course, I'm talking about our mental health. So mental health is the realm of our thoughts, our emotions, and our behaviors, and how they're all connected, and how they impact everything in our life. And just like we all have physical health, because we all have a body, we all have a brain, and we all have mental health too. So I think a good way to think about it is that the brain is like a network, like the internet. Like, you know, there's messages constantly going back and forth. There's all this communication and activity happening. Even when you're sleeping, that's why we dream at night. Our brain is still working. There's an unbelievable amount of stuff going on in there. And I like to also think of the brain and the network in there as the hardware, like the physical part of a computer. And the mind, what we experience, we can think of it like the software, like the program that's running off of that hardware. And our mental health, how we're doing, we can think of it like our user experience. So all of our thoughts, emotions, memories, our personality traits, our habits, all of this is in the realm of the mind, and this is what makes up our mental health as well. So what is your user experience like? You know, is it generally smooth and functional and enjoyable? Or is it frustrating and difficult and you keep getting stuck in these places you don't want to be and it's just not working for you? Most likely you've had good and bad experiences and everything in between. Because when we think about our mental health, we can think of it like a spectrum. You know, it's not black or white. There's all those gray areas in between. So when we experience mental wellness, that's when we're thinking positive thoughts and we're generally feeling good and we're able to do all the things we need to do and we're acting in healthy ways. But, you know, we'll all experience mental health challenges throughout our lives. You know, we get stressed and overwhelmed and, you know, we experience loss sometimes and we can feel frustrated and hopeless and things just aren't going well. And that is all a part of being human. And, you know, we're talking about heroes today, and what would the hero's journey be if there were no challenges to overcome? You know, we all have those challenges in our lives. But sometimes those challenges can get really, really serious and maybe last a long time. And that's when we might experience what we'd call a mental illness. So that's when your thoughts and emotions and behaviors are causing so much pain and distress and suffering that you're really not able to function in all the areas of life that matter to you. So when your user experience is really, really bad, most of the time, that's when it's time to get help. But you know, just like with physical illnesses, it is possible to recover from a mental illness. You know, we can feel better and start back on that journey to recovery. And just like with other physical illnesses that tend to be lifelong, like diabetes or epilepsy, you know, these are things that can be managed to the point where you do feel all right most of the time and you can take care of yourself and still experience wellness even with your illness. And the same is true for mental illness. If you can manage it in a way that works for you, you can also feel well. We all have a brain, we all have a mind, and we all have mental health. And a great example of a student-led initiative that targets the 5 in 5 versus the 1 in 5 is just this past fall at Queen's University. Every first-year student who came to university got a cool pair of these green sunglasses with a link on the side to some mental health resources online that they could access. So they didn't just pass it out to those students in the counseling center or who looked like they needed help. Everybody got a pair. They targeted everybody, not just the 1 in 5. It's so important to bring this conversation to everybody. Because you know what? Mental health is the #1 health topic for young people. Of all the serious illnesses that impact youth, mental illness is the most common. And suicide, which is the act of taking one's own life due to mental distress, is the #1 health-related cause of death for young people, second only to accidents. And the biggest barrier that prevents people from reaching out and getting the support that they need is the fact that we keep silent about this topic and we don't talk about it. We remain silent when we're struggling. And I know that I did for many, many years. And it wasn't until mental health advocates came and spoke up at my school that I realized I needed to get help. And because of people speaking up, that's probably why I'm still here today. So for a quick change of pace, I want to take a quick movie break. And this was made by a student from the Jack Project before they graduated from Queen's. And this does a really great job of explaining what the Jack Project is all about and why we need to talk about it. So let me see if I can drag it onto the next screen. Thanks, guys. I'm sure the student who made it would be very proud. So, no more silence. That's our vision. If mental health is such an important topic, then why aren't we talking about it? You know, we're so used to saying, I'm fine, when someone asked how we're doing, even when we're totally not. So, how come it's not okay to say, I'm not okay? Where are we getting those messages from? So I want to hear from you guys. To think about this for a second. Think about the messages you may have heard throughout your life. You know, who or what made you feel that it's not okay to talk about mental health? Where was that message coming from? So let me pull up the poll here. All right. So is it something maybe you heard it at home, in your family, maybe other adults in your life, peers, in the media, maybe all of them? Or maybe you don't really know. Or maybe you always felt it was okay to talk about it, and that's great, and that's good to know too. All right, they're adding up. Looks like it's most of these things, all of the above. All right, so let's take 10 more seconds, and then we'll chat a bit more about where these messages come from. All right. So most of you said that it's all of the above. Some of you said you don't really know where you got that message, you just always felt it. And I find it really interesting that a lot of you said, I always felt okay talking about it. So this is something we're going to talk about a bit later, but it's so important to take note of because what we want to do is help create those environments where it is safe and okay to talk about mental health. So when we have a time for questions later, I want to hear some of those ideas from you guys as well. But first, let's talk about something called stigma. So stigma is a collection of attitudes, beliefs, behaviors, and all of those messages that tell us that mental health is this taboo topic, that mental illness is shameful and should be hidden. And these messages make us feel that we're afraid to reach out, we're ashamed, and ultimately keep us silent. And amazingly, most people, the majority of people who really need help, will not ask for it and will not get the help they need. This is why stigma is so harmful and so hurtful. So I have a quick video clip that I want to show you just what I mean about this. This was a great public service announcement put out by CAMH, which is the Centre for Addiction and Mental Health, Canada's largest mental health and research hospital. And it gives a really good job of showing some of those messages that are being sent to us all throughout our lives from the people around us and how it can keep us silent.
You're imagining things.
What you really need is a girls' night out.
You're making a big deal out of nothing.
Honey, we all have bad days.
You're your own worst enemy.
It could be a lot worse. It's just a phase.
Stop feeling sorry for yourself.
I don't get it.
And a few beers won't fix, right?
Take the day off. Crazy talk.
I know exactly.
Hey, why don't you just stop
It's all in
drinking?
your head, man. Let's get over it.
So I know that went by really quick, but some of those messages that we hear are snap out of it, just get over it, it's not a big deal, it's just a phase. All of those things add up over time. All right. So just get over it. Would we ever talk about that way about cancer or epilepsy or any other physical illness? So why is it okay to talk about mental health and mental illness this way? It keeps us silent, and this is why it's so harmful. And most people who have experienced a mental illness will often tell you that the stigma can be just as bad or worse than the illness itself. It makes us feel so ashamed, and that just adds to our suffering. And as a person who has lived experience with mental illness, I can tell you this can be very true. So I think this is a good time to tell you my story. Let me just find my mouse. There it is. So by sharing my experiences, I hope I can give you kind of an insider's view of the devastating impact of stigma and why it's so important that we keep talking about mental health. And not just talking about it, understanding it and accepting it, because it's all part of our human experience. And these conversations can save lives. They saved my own, and I'll tell you how. So I was always a quiet, sensitive kid, but I had friends and a loving family. I loved nature and animals and writing stories and reading. I was doing well at school, and overall my health was pretty good, and my mental health was okay. But when I was 10 years old, something started to go very wrong. I was suddenly hit with these overwhelming fears and this anxiety and these obsessive thoughts. I was just flooded with them. I became utterly convinced that deadly germs and poisons were everywhere, like on everything I touched, every time I breathed, that all of these things were going to kill me. And I was just 10 years old. I didn't know what was happening, but I was terrified, just utterly terrified. My symptoms were so severe that for a time I couldn't do school at all. I stayed home. My mom had to stay home with me. And it really broke her heart to see me just like washing my hands till they were totally raw and refusing to eat anything and refusing to be touched by anyone. And I would be like counting under my breath and doing everything a certain number of times and doing these rituals like erasing and rewriting words until I ripped right through the paper, and it was never good enough. And because I was so afraid of germs, I would like spit into garbage cans and Kleenex and just trying to get it out of my body. I was so terrified something was like eating me from the inside and I had to get it out. So when I finally saw a psychiatrist, she diagnosed me with obsessive compulsive disorder, or OCD, which is a type of anxiety disorder. And I was doing all these rituals and compulsions as a way to make myself feel safe, even if it didn't really make any sense. I just couldn't stop myself. I couldn't stop the fears and the thoughts that were just flooding my mind. So I was put on medication, and I got therapy. And eventually, I was finally able to go back to school. And my symptoms slowly got better. I was coping with my mental illness. Remember that spectrum. I was, climbing my way back up to wellness. But I was also starting to experience the very different way that people with mental health challenges are treated, that stigma. So I quickly lost all my friends, for one thing. I became a very easy target for bullying. I was doing all kinds of strange things. The kids at school would call me a freak and messed up and a loser. And, I would go to sit down in the cafeteria next to some people, and they would just immediately get up and leave. Like I was that person nobody wanted to be around. And I felt like a complete outcast, like a worthless person. And all of those things that people were saying to me, I started to say to myself, like, I'm a loser. No one will ever like me. I don't belong. So, as human beings, we have a really deep, fundamental need to belong, to be accepted. If we think way, way back to our human ancestors, living in small groups, in harsh environments, completely dependent on each other for survival, belonging to that group meant everything. The group hunted and gathered food, they built shelter, they took care of each other, they defended themselves against all kinds of danger. So if you were cast out from that group, you didn't survive. So it makes sense that the human brain is strongly wired to value social acceptance. We're deeply social creatures, and we want and need to belong. We're so sensitive to social feedback and social messages about where we stand and what is our worth and how do other people see us. And there are few things in life that are more painful or devastating than social rejection. And stigma is all about social rejection. It's about all those harmful messages we're getting that make us feel we're not good enough, we're not worthy, we're weak, we're different. I was getting these messages from my peers at school, from teachers who told me, why can't you just snap out of it? And even from my family. There's no doubt that they loved me, but in their frustration, sometimes they would say things like, why can't you just be normal? And you're embarrassing yourself. And for the rest of my family, my extended family, suddenly nobody was asking about me anymore. Nobody talked about me. It was like, we just don't talk about what's going on with Erin. And to me, it was almost like I stopped existing. Like nobody cared. Like I was that person in orange over there, cast out from the group. And it was such a painful place to be. So because of the stigma and rejection, I started to develop a lot of social anxiety. And I think that's why I still have social anxiety today. It's stuck with me. And social anxiety is all about being afraid of what people are thinking of you. This became an all-consuming fear for me. And, when the other kids saw how shy and anxious I was, they would keep calling me a loser. And, of course, that really didn't help. And for years and years, that was the constant voice in my head, that I'm a loser, I'm not good enough, I'm worthless. So as I got into high school, I started to develop depression. And it got really, really bad. It was all about hating myself, really. It was all about drowning in that self-stigma, like all of that stigma that I had internalized and had absorbed over a lifetime. And no matter how bad the depression got, I didn't reach out for help. I didn't want to talk about it. I would just say, I'm fine, but of course I wasn't. So I didn't want to go to school, didn't want to deal with people, just wanted to sleep. And I didn't care about life. And eventually I did start having thoughts of suicide. But through all of that pain and suffering, I stayed silent because of that stigma and shame. So it wasn't until grade 12 when we had a presentation about mental health at my high school. That's when I first realized there was hope. When I first heard it was okay to talk about this, that there's no reason to be ashamed. Young people like me got up and started sharing their stories of depression and anxiety, and I learned that I wasn't alone and that recovery was possible. And that was revolutionary for me. It was life-changing. When there came a time for questions at the end, I put up my hand automatically, and I walked up to the stage, and then all my own experiences started just pouring out of me. I shared my story in front of my whole school, and then I went to my guidance counselor, And then I went home and talked to my parents. And I said I wanted to get help. I wanted to start my own journey of recovery. So that conversation about mental health saved my life. It broke the barrier of stigma and shame that had been keeping me silent and keeping me from asking for the support that I needed. So talking about it was the crucial first step. But I was still depressed for several years. It got really bad, and I did spend time in the hospital even, and I couldn't go to school for a couple of years. But even though I was seriously struggling, the important thing was that I kept going back for help. I was open to getting help. And I had hoped that someday things would get better. That's what that mental health conversation meant to me. So let's take another video break. This is another cool video made by a student. And it's so powerful because it reminds us how ridiculous it is that stigma and shame keep so many of us suffering in silence. And it's time to talk about it. So let's check it out.
Let's talk about mental health. This isn't just a conversation about stigma or awareness, or illness for that matter. It's a conversation about people, about all of us. We all have mental health. So think about this. Your brain is made up of 100 billion nerve cells. That means it works hard for you every day. It's the reason we dream. It's the reason we love, hope, have the ability to think. Not caring for your mental health, even when you feel great, it's like the city of Manhattan not performing routine maintenance on Grand Central Station. So here's my question. Why is there stigma? Well, it's time for a reality check. Stigma has come from all of us at one point or another. Not in the language we use or our perception of what mental health is, but by the very fact that at one point, we've all been afraid to ask for help. We've all been afraid to talk to someone about our insecurities, feeling pressure to succeed, dealing with setbacks, and the list goes on. At some point, we've all feared asking for support. That's stigma. Let's fight back. Let's stigmatize the stigma. Stigmatize fear of a conversation about mental health. Stigmatize judgment for seeing a counselor. Stigmatize not reaching out for support. Be bold and take ownership of mental health. We all have it.
Thanks, guys. So that was Justin Sciani, one of our Jack Project team. So, we all have it. And the first step to getting help is reaching out to someone we trust and talking about how we're feeling, even though I know it can be the hardest thing to do. So I've got another question for you guys. Find my mouse. There it is. If you were struggling with your mental health, who would be the first person you would talk to? So would it be a friend, someone in your family, someone at school, like a teacher or a guidance counselor, maybe an online forum or a phone helpline, your family doctor, another adult, or maybe you wouldn't talk to anybody. So let's take a minute. This is so interesting to see. Looks like most people are saying they would talk to a friend. That would be their first person. And then a parent or family a second. But there's still a good group who wouldn't talk to anyone. So that's the stigma and the shame and that fear of rejection. But it's so interesting that most people would say they talk to a friend. That's why it's so important for young people to have that awareness and that understanding and that compassion towards mental health, to be able to help their friends. And also, we need to learn how to be able to help ourselves if we're the ones who are struggling. So let's move along to our wheel of well-being here. So there are many different areas of our lives that contribute to our overall mental well-being. And these areas are all connected. So what's important is that we find a balance, a way to balance all the things in our lives in a way that works for us. So let's go through these quickly. So your environment. Do you feel safe where you live, in your neighborhood, in your school? Do you get outside in the fresh air sometimes? Do you feel comfortable in your physical environment? Your relationships. Do you have supportive people you can talk to? Do you have people you care about, people who care about you? And what about your relationship with yourself? What are the things you're telling yourself in your head? Are you being kind to yourself? Or are you beating yourself up like I did for so many years? Your emotions. So how do you handle stress? Are you able to step back from really difficult emotions and say, I know I feel awful right now, but it's going to be okay. I can do this. Your physical well-being. Are you taking care of your physical health? Are you getting sleep, exercise, a healthy diet? Creativity and intellect. Are there things you're doing in your lives that help express yourself? Maybe you're into art or writing or dance. Lots of different ways to express ourselves and our intellect. Are you keeping your brain busy? Are you learning new things? And then spirituality. So that doesn't have to be religion, though religion is very meaningful for many people. But it can also be a way that you find meaning in your life. Do you feel connected to something bigger than yourselves? Whether it's joining a cause or volunteering or even just being out in nature and contemplating the universe. All of these things help us feel connected. And then education and employment. So do you find that what you're learning at school is meaningful? Is it giving you opportunities in life? Do you have goals for future school or future work? So all of these things, it's important to keep them in balance. And if one of them is really not going well in your life, it can really impact all the other areas. So, for example, let's say you're spending all your time studying at school, like so much to the point where you're not sleeping and you're not seeing your friends and you're not doing anything that you find meaningful and you're so stressed and your emotions are just all over the place. That's not going to be healthy for your mental well-being. Another example would be if there are some relationship issues, like there's a breakup or your parents are going through a divorce or something like that is happening. Clearly that can cause you to be very distressed emotionally. Maybe you're not paying attention at school as much because of that. Maybe you're not getting enough sleep or taking care of yourself physically. So all of these things are connected. And you know, this wheel of well-being can be a very powerful tool. It's like our toolbox. It can help us understand all the different ways that we can take care of ourselves in our lives. So some examples of what worked for me in taking care of my mental health and coping with my mental illness are things like, well, managing my self-talk is huge. So being kind to myself and not beating myself up. And getting enough sleep. I'm huge on sleep. Like I need like 9-10 hours. That's great for me. Being outside in nature, in that great environment, getting that fresh air. Reading and writing. Those help my brain, my mind express itself, keep myself busy. And one thing I've had to learn to do over time is to adjust my expectations for how my life is going to turn out. You know, I dropped out of university several times. I didn't know where I was going in life. I kind of felt stuck for a while. But I've had to realize that there is no one direct path through life. It's not always just high school, university, job, get married, have kids, straight path like that. There can be off-roads and detours, and everybody's finding their way through life in the way that works for them. And what's most important is that you take care of your overall health throughout that journey. And social support, of course, is huge. It was huge in my own life to have people to talk to have a therapist. I still see a therapist. To have my friends and family. So we're going to talk a bit more about this because we're going to talk about how to help a friend. And it's helpful to think first what you would need from a friend if you confided in them that you're struggling. So most of you said you would talk to a friend first. So if you reached out to a friend, what would you need from them? So here are a few things you might want or not want. You might want a lot of them, but if there's one that sticks out for you more than others, let me know what that is. What would you need from a friend? Let's take a couple more minutes, see what you guys think. All right, looks like most of you are saying just someone to listen and be there. Just to listen while you get it out and express yourself. And to tell you that they care and that you matter to them. And also to help you figure out ways, solutions to whatever it is you're going through. And that distracting with other activities, that can be helpful too. Like just somebody to do something with that'll get your mind off of whatever's stressing you out. That can be helpful. But listening and being there is huge. I think that's what I would need as well. So I think this is great to see, because right up here with, how many people do we have? Like 400 or 500 people here. These are all your peers, all saying what would work for them. So this can help you see what your friends might need from you. And maybe give you some awareness into what you would need if you were struggling and how you would need to take care of yourself. So, let's talk about how to help our friends and how to help ourselves. So if a friend confides in you, like most of you said, just listen and be there for them. And tell them how much you care and how much they matter to you. They need to know that. And if you're the one who's struggling, then reach out to someone you trust and talk about it. You matter to so many people, and they do want to hear from you. They want to be able to help, but we can't always tell when somebody's struggling. You can't read somebody's mind. So you need to reach out and talk to somebody. And if you're really struggling or your friend is really struggling, you need to involve other people. So this may mean grabbing the guidance counselor or having the parent come into support or just rallying supporters around you so you're not doing this alone. It can be very hard. If it's you who's struggling or your friend, it's important to involve other people who can help. And if you or someone you know is ever thinking of hurting yourself or even thinking about suicide, you need to take it seriously. So this is where you grab an adult right away. You stay with that person or get someone to stay with you if it's you who's seriously thinking about it. And you need to, if it's an emergency, you need to call 911, call the police, take them to the hospital, but get them help right away because this is a serious situation if someone's seriously thinking about hurting themselves or taking their life. If you're really worried, it's worth it to make the call. You could save a life, and the life you save could be your own. And helping a friend can be rough. I mean, it's so hard to see someone we care about struggling and in crisis. So another important thing is to make sure to get support for yourself, to rally your own supporters around you, and go back to that toolbox that we talked about and do things that you can do to take care of your own mental health. And more information about the toolbox and so many other resources that you can use will be on that bracelet you guys all got, the USB bracelet. So you'll be able to take it home. All right. So let's talk about how to be a hero. First, let me tell you about my heroes. I have a friend who's living with bipolar disorder right now, and I've been visiting her in the hospital because things are really, really bad. But you know, she's being her own hero right now. She's getting help, she's taking care of herself, and she's not giving up. So she inspires me with her ability to keep going back for help and to take care of herself every day, even though she's having to overcome these extreme challenges. And she reminds me of a quote I like, that sometimes even to live is an act of courage. She's being her own hero right now. There's also the everyday heroes that all of us can be when we're kind to each other, when we help a friend, when we reach out, when we stand up to bullying. And all of the heroes in our communities that keep us safe, the police officers, the firefighters, the paramedics, the people who support us in our lives, the teachers and parents, nurses and doctors, and all of these people. And then there's what I like to call revolutionary heroes and mental health ambassadors, a community of heroes who are powering the mental health movement and making noise and creating change. All of us can be advocates and give a voice to mental health. All of us can be the change that we wish to see in the world and change how society thinks and talks about mental health. So how will you create change in your community? How will you make a difference? So I want to tell you a quick story about making a difference. Maybe you've heard it, but I'll tell it quickly. So an old man was walking down a beach, and all these starfish had washed up onto the shore. And there was a little girl going along the beach and picking up each starfish and throwing it back in the water so that it could live. And he walked up to her and said, "Why are you bothering to do that? Like, there's millions of starfish on the beach. They're all gonna die. Why even bother? What difference could it possibly make?" And she picked up one starfish and gently put it in the water and said, "I bet it made a difference for that one." So you're all making a difference with every conversation you have, with every life you touch, and with every mind you change. So together we can do amazing things. By starting the conversation, challenging the stigma, and changing our understanding of mental health, and unleashing the noise. This is our group from last year. There'll be another one this year. And whenever you gather together and work together to make change, you're all creating so much noise about the issues that matter. Together, we can all make our schools and communities safe and supportive places where it's okay to talk about mental health. You know, what can you do at your school to raise awareness? You have the tools and the hero inside to make it happen. Together, we can become a generation without stigma. And together, we can all build a world where there is no more silence. Thank you. Awesome, guys. So before we get into a quick question and answer period, I have one more question to ask you. So compared to the beginning of this presentation, how do you feel your understanding of mental health has changed? How would you rate your understanding of mental health now? All right, so we'll take one more minute, let them add up. Great. So just by looking at this, I can tell there's a lot more people who feel they know a lot about mental health compared to the last time. Some people are still learning about it, and some people may need to continue to learn and have more conversations, and that's okay. But the point is, we've shifted our understanding already with all these people. So just imagine the ripple effect if you take this conversation back to your schools and your family and your community. So now, as we do a bit of a Q&A, I'm going to leave these resources up here. Now, these will be on your USB stick as well, but also in case you want to write them down. Examples of where you can get support in your high school. Your teachers, your guidance counselor, social worker, youth worker, school psychologist, other staff at school, as well as your parents and your family doctor, and your friends as well who can help. And then if you prefer anonymous, online, phone support, there's Kids Help Phone, so that's for young people up to age 20. And totally anonymous, free, 24/7 in English and French. They also have an awesome website with like every kind of information you would ever want to know. And Good to Talk is for those of you who are going off to college or university. And this is the same kind of helpline. There are professional counselors who can talk to you any time of day. It's anonymous, it's free if you ever need to talk. All right, so now I believe we can either have a mic that goes around, or if you project your voice nice and loud, I'd be super happy to take any questions you guys might have, and I'll do my best to answer any of them. The most common mental health issue that young people experience? I would say anxiety. That's what I hear over and over, is anxiety disorders and the stress and overwhelm and panicking and really dealing with anxiety. There was a school board survey that went out, I believe, last year approximately, where like 70% of students said that they dealt with stress and anxiety pretty much every day. And so anxiety is a big one for sure. Yep. Is it genetic? Some illnesses do have a genetic component, but it is a balance between genetics and environment. So you might have a predisposition if it's common in your family, so you're more likely to experience that illness, but you won't necessarily get it. But if there's a lot of stress in your environment, it might trigger it. So there is that connection. Great question. Yep. It's true. I guess because the counselors at Kids Help Phone have specific training in dealing with people in that age range, so children, teenagers, and youth. Then there's the post-secondary helpline as well, for their more experience in dealing with the issues that come up during college and university. But there is also helplines like Distress Center and the Connect's mental health helpline. So there are other helplines out there for any age. I think it's mainly because the counselors are very, very experienced with young people. Yep. That's a very good question. So what do you do when someone's suffering and they don't want help? That can often be the case. So my advice in that situation would be just to make sure they know that you are there and open for whenever they feel that they need to talk. So make sure they know about things like Kids Help Phone, they know where to go at school if they need to talk, and they know that you'll always be there and you're always open to hearing about it and how much you care. And when they come to a place where they feel comfortable, they'll know, oh, that friend of mine, you know, she cares, she wants to know, just to make yourself available. Or if it's an emergency, then you really need to grab somebody or call 911, like if it's really serious. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so there's a couple questions in there. So what do you do if there's not somebody in your life you feel like you can talk to or trust, because you don't really know the guidance counselor? And where can you find somebody? So I think for the first part, this is why it's so important for teachers and school staff to be involved in this conversation from the beginning. So to talk about it with their students and make themselves known and available, and this is why I'm here, and to make that an ongoing conversation throughout school. And for somebody who feels like they have nobody to talk to, that's a really tricky situation, but that's why people like the guidance counselors and people at school need to make themselves visible and available so they become those people. There also are things like chat forums and apps where you can do like anonymous chat with a professional counselor. So if there's not anybody you feel that you can trust or talk to, that might be the first step, and then they can help you find out and brainstorm who else in your life can you reach out to. Yep. Oh, thank you. Okay, there's one at the back there. How do young people get involved with the Jack Project? Well, I know you guys all got a pencil case today. So each pencil case has what we call a rave card. It's basically like a postcard with information about how to contact us. We are a growing organization, so right now we're small, but as we grow, we're going to need more volunteers. And so if anyone wants to get in touch with us, there is information on those cards, or you can go to thejackproject.org. And Unleash the Noise is happening in a couple days now, but for next year, that's a great opportunity for students who really want to be leaders in their community around mental health and create change in how society understands mental health, as well as create their own awesome initiatives they can bring back to their schools to raise awareness. So registration for next year's Unleash the Noise will be probably sometime in the fall of this year. So that's another awesome way. Yeah? The most effective way to raise awareness is people who have experience with mental illness or mental health challenges getting up there and sharing their story and saying, you know what, I'm just like you. You know, I'm not that different. Mental health is just a part of my life. And I think that helps really humanize the conversation. And if it's not someone who has experience, just the fact that it's another person your own age, a peer, a friend, someone in your school, that can often be so much more effective than a doctor coming in and telling you, here are signs and symptoms. If it's someone your own age, it's more engaging, it's more relevant. So that's hugely important. So we have a couple more minutes. Yep, sorry, right at the back there. How many students get people to talk about their stories? Or how might they talk about their stories? Well, if you go back to your own schools and you gather a group of people and you decide you want to do a mental health initiative in your school, like if it's a week-long event full of activities, and you have a group of people who's organizing this, if there's somebody in that group who feels comfortable telling their story and has the supports in their life around them, so they are supported if they feel distressed, that can be a really great option for any presentations you're doing. On our website, we have a big section about how to share your story in the way that will have the best positive impact. Because if you're sharing your story and you're talking about all the gory details and all the bad things that happen, but you don't have that message of hope and recovery and things can get better and all of that, then it might not be as effective. It's so important to have those messages that you want to send to people, that we need to talk about it and recovery is possible, to shape your story in that way so it is as inspiring as possible to others and helps other people think about how they can take action to raise awareness too. All right, so I think we have time for a couple more questions. Yeah, right there. The best time to ask for help is when you start to feel that whatever is going on with you is really affecting the other parts of your life. So you're not able to concentrate at school, or you don't want to hang out with friends anymore, or something's really changed in your life and you're not able to do all those things that you want and need to do, and it's really affecting you. Are you talking about approaching somebody else who needs help, or? Mm-hmm. How do you say, like, what's the first thing you would say when you walk in and sit down? And I guess it's what's most comfortable for you. I'm thinking what I would say is just, I'm going through some really tough stuff and I don't really know how to talk about it. And if it's your guidance counselor, that's a cue for them to dig a bit deeper, to be like, okay, well, tell me about some of the things that are going on in your life. But it's okay to say that it's hard and I don't really know how to talk about this. The point is that you're reaching out to somebody and saying, I need to talk and can you please listen? And often you need to sort of talk out loud to get it out. But just to say, I need someone to listen while I talk about some things I'm going through, and I feel really alone, and I need someone to be here. All right. Maybe one more question? Oh, there's one way at the back. Awesome. Sorry, can you repeat the first part of the question? If you were new to an area and you didn't know anybody, so I assume if you're new to an area, you would be at school as well. So the guidance department or the social worker, or you can call an anonymous line to talk to somebody. If you feel comfortable talking to your parents. But usually at school, because we're at school for most of the time during the day, that's the best place to reach out and be like, you know what, who do I talk to if I'm dealing with some tough stuff? And that is the place to go, is guidance. That's a good place to start. So I think there was one more up top, and then we need to move on. Yeah, I see the cell phone. Awesome, perfect. So Youth Speak has people who will come and share their story just like this, and on mental health and addictions. Awesome, perfect. So thank you all so much for being here. It was awesome.
Aaron, there's a young guy up here who said he's hand up for half an hour. Take this question.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I think there's one person I wasn't seeing. There we go. Sorry, the light was in my eyes. Yeah. How do I feel now compared to when I was younger? Wow, that's a great question. Let me tell you, there were years and years where I would just dream of the day when I could look back and say that what I was going through now was in the past. And I didn't think that day would ever come, but really, this is that day for me. This is that time for me. I do struggle with anxiety, but I'm doing so many meaningful things in my life. Life is good in general for me. I feel better than I have ever felt in my life, and it's been a really long journey, but I got there, and I know it's possible for all of us to get there too. Thank you. All right.
Thank you. Just stand aside for a second. Aaron and I were talking a little earlier before her presentation, sometimes how difficult it is to stand up in front of a crowd of people. At the best of times, the emotions and the nerves, and to be able to stand up here and tell a real life story, a personal experience. I commend you and the utmost respect for being able to deliver this message to all of us here today. Thank you. Our next presenter is from iEngage. Anthony is no stranger to the Crime Stopper program here in York Region, as we've had him join us before at the Symposium. Anthony is an actor and speaker based out of Toronto. He's presented at hundreds of schools from Eastern Canada to South Australia. As an actor, you may have seen Anthony in commercials for Tim Hortons, Bell, Ford, and the milk commercials. He was also the host of the CBC television show where he worked with celebrities such as Kanye West, Drake, Tina Fey, and many more. So, are we all ready for Anthony?
Hey, thank you. Ah, yeah. What up, what up, what up? Can you guys make some noise for me so I know you're feeling good? All right. Those of you just walking in the door, welcome. Everyone turn and look at the people walking in the door. I like pointing out late people. Her. Right there. All eyes. Right there. You in the back, you're not getting away. What are you trying to do over there? I got a flashlight in my pocket. I'm going to call you out right now. I see you. Yeah. All right, well, it's good to be here. I better turn that off, otherwise my phone's going to be dead later. I don't know why my battery dies quick. Every day at like 3 o'clock. You too? It's annoying, right? You remember the old school cell phones? The battery would last for like 3 days. But it would also take you like an hour to send a text message. Remember that? You have to tap 3 times to get a letter I. It's very annoying. So I'm good with this. I just need a better battery. Well, it's wonderful to be here. I always like starting by telling people this. You know, on a day like this, it's so great. We're talking about bullying. I honestly believe you guys are going to go back to your schools, and like Gandhi said, you are going to be the change that you want to see in your schools. How about a round of applause for the change you guys are going to make when you go back to school? Yeah. Now let's pause for a further opportunity. Thank you. You're good, man. Like, wow. I'm hiring you. All right? Anyone got a wedding coming up? I hope not. You're too young. But we'll just remember this guy, okay? Now, I also want to say, on a day like this when we're talking about bullying, what we don't want is for you guys to leave here and then everything that happens for the next 3 weeks is bullying. You know what I'm saying? I don't want you guys leaving here and it's like, you know, as you're walking out the door, someone bumps into you and you're like, I think I just got bullied. What am I supposed to do? I can't remember. Listen, not everything's bullying. If you're playing soccer and someone bumps into you, that's not called bullying. That is called soccer. Okay? If you're playing basketball, right? Coach teaches you to bump into people. The shot goes up. What are you supposed to do? When the shot goes up, you're supposed to do what to the person you're defending? You're supposed to box out. I got some basketball players here. Yeah. And for those of you who don't play basketball, it's where you use your butt. It's true. And you actually bump the person behind you, and it sounds like I'm twerking up here, doesn't it? This is not a Miley Cyrus video. I apologize. That's not why you're disappointed. I came in like a wrecking ball. Wow, chicka, wow, wow. All right, now, I apologize. That's not what this is about. No, all I'm saying is not everything is bullying. Don't leave here and think that everything that happens is bullying. When we talk about bullying, here's what we're talking about, okay? Number one, someone is hurting someone else. Number one, they're doing it on purpose. It's not accidental. They want to humiliate someone else. Bullying is when you want someone to feel bad about themselves, when you want to hurt them. Maybe it's physically, maybe it's emotionally, maybe it's their reputation. So number one is on purpose. Everyone say on purpose. Number two, it's happening over and over and over again. It's repeated. Everyone say it's repeated. And that's what leads to the anxiety. That's what leads to the real troublesome part of bullying is the fear and the anxiety. That's what we don't want. And I love everything that Aaron shared about anxiety earlier today. And number three, not only is it on purpose, not only is it repeated, but also it's happening from a place of power. Now, I find guys and girls use their power differently. With studies say that guys use their power in a direct manner to intimidate, right? I'm bigger than you. I'm older than you, and we use it directly. Studies say that girls, this is interesting, usually use their power indirectly. It's not I'm bigger than you, all right? It's actually I got more friends than you, and I'm going to talk to all my friends about you. I'm going to spread your business all over Snapchat, all right? Everyone's going to see that ugly photo of you, all right? But only for 7 seconds because I don't want to get caught. Now, this is what studies say. So I find it's true, and I would take it a step farther. You know, I find it's true. I find, though, that with guys, I think, you know, when we get into, like, conflicts with another guy, sometimes it's not as bad because girls will hold on to things for a long time. You know, guys, we can get over stuff. I'm best friends today with people I hated in high school. You know what I'm saying? We can move on. Two guys, you know, we're like, man, I didn't like you. Yeah, I didn't like you either. But now we're on the same basketball team. Let's just play. Cool. High five. We move on. We're cool. But ladies, what's wrong with you? You got problems. You hold on to stuff for like years. I'll talk to a girl in grade 10 who like hates this other girl. She doesn't even remember why. And then finally, when it finally, oh, I remember what she did to me. What did she do? It was horrible. What'd she do? She took my glue stick in grade 2. Listen, take me by the hand. I will bring you to Dollarama. I'm gonna buy you a new glue stick. I'll buy you 4 glue sticks, multicolor glue sticks. You can make rainbows with those bad boys. And unicorns out of glue, call them glunicorns. You can move on. And the worst is when it spreads to all the friends. So you got your friends, and it's like, hey, don't hang out with that girl. Don't be her friend. Don't invite her here. And it spreads to the school, and your school becomes a poisonous place to be. It becomes a poisonous culture. That's what we don't want. Your school's only going to be as good as you make it. And that's why it's up to you guys to bring all this positive energy from today back to your school, and it's up to you to make your school the place you want it to be. One more round of applause for that, all right? Yeah. Awesome. Now, your school's only going to be as good as you make it. Let me just grab a sip of water here for a minute. I went out there, there's so many water bottles, man, so many granola bars. Got a 2 gigabyte bracelet over here. You can go ahead and drink too if you got some water. All right. Now, when I say your school's only going to be as good as you make it, I want you to make your school the best place possible. That doesn't mean, and hear me on this, because some of you have such a good heart that you want to be like everyone's friend, and you want to make sure that everyone in your school is doing well, and that's the place your heart needs to be. But in the real world, when you go back to school later today and you go back to school tomorrow, you're going to get overwhelmed if you feel like you got to be friends with the whole school. It's going to be you're going to realize, I can't do this. You're going to get burnt out. You're going to realize, I can't really be there for everyone at the same time. And so I want you to know, you don't have to be friends with everyone, but you do have to be friendly to everyone. You can't always be friends, but you can always be friendly. And sometimes that's all people need. Sometimes all they need is someone smiling at them. Sometimes all they need is someone pat them on the back, say, hey, how you doing? Sometimes all they need is someone to say, hey, I like your hair, even if you don't know the person. All right? Now, that can be awkward, depends, but it can also be great. Sometimes all people need is a smiling face. The world can seem like such a scary place, especially to those of us who struggle with things like anxiety. It can feel like everyone's against you. It can feel like nobody likes you. It can feel like you're invisible. And I want you to know something. You're not invisible. You're seen. And for those of you that want to make that change in your school, just by smiling at someone, just by saying hello, by holding the door open for someone, you can change their whole day. But some schools I go to, the environment is so tense, and people are so worried about who's talking about who, and am I wearing the right clothes, and is my body the right size, is my color the right, is my skin clear today, is my hair, and we're so tense that we can't really engage with our school community, that we can't really be there for people, that we can't really see people and say, hey, you know, I found out a secret. The best way for me as a speaker to avoid getting too nervous, I always get a little nervous before a talk, but I've come to welcome that because those nerves are going to turn into adrenaline. It's like before a race. If any of you do track and field, you get those nerves, but it turns into adrenaline. It makes you run faster. A little bit of nerves before a talk, it actually gives me adrenaline. I like it. But the way I keep myself from getting too nervous, where I'm stumbling over my words and I don't remember what I was going to say, I learned this secret from a guy named Jamie Lash. He said, focus on what the audience needs. Stop thinking about yourself. Are my clothes okay? Is my skin clear today? Is my hair? Stop thinking about yourself and start thinking, who might be in the audience today? Who might need to hear this message? Who out there is hurting more than me? And every time I get my mind off of myself and I remember, wait a minute, hold on, there's people out there that are going through stuff. All of a sudden, I stop becoming so self-centered and I stop getting so nervous and I start thinking about other people. I want you to remember that at your school. Sometimes, instead of being all wrapped up in how many likes did I get on that photo I posted on Instagram, stop and think, who out there in my school might be hurting today? Who out there in my school can I make a difference 4. And if you do that, I guarantee you, you're going to have a lot less anxiety, a lot more peace, and you will make your school a better place. But remember, you don't have to be friends with everybody, but you do have to be friendly. And if we all do that, man, our schools are going to be a great place. Now, let's be realistic. There might be people at your school that you don't get along with. There might be people at your school that bother you. There might be people at your school that straight up get on your nerves. There are a lot of annoying people in the world. Some of you think I'm one of them. That's not nice. But the point is, there might be people that annoy you at your school. So let's be real. If there's someone like that and you still want to make sure your school is a good place, here's what you're going to do, okay? You do your thing. Let them do their thing. Don't talk about them behind their back. Don't tell your friends, hey, don't hang out with that person. You mind your business, they mind their business. And as much as it's possible for you, live at peace with everyone in the world, all right? Sometimes we wait. And we want to wait till that person apologizes to us. No, just you initiate it. You just be like, you know what? I'm going to mind my business. I'm doing me. Let them do them. Everything's going to be good. Do me a favor, guys. When I say hash, you say tag. Hash, hash. When I say you do you, you say I do me. You do you. You do you. If we all agree on that and we just mind our own business, our schools are going to be a better place. One more round of applause, all right? It's a very good thing. Very good thing. All right, now, I told you it drives me crazy when people act like everything is bullying. There's something else that drives me crazy as well. It drives me crazy when people say the rudest comments, the meanest comments, this nasty stuff. But then afterwards they say, I'm just kidding. You know what I'm talking about. Some of you are the ones that do it, all right? You know what I'm talking about. We were like, I hate your guts. I hope you die. Just kidding. What is that? You know? It's like going up to someone and smacking them in their face. And when they're like, ow, you're like, I'm kidding. You want to hear a knock-knock joke? Knock, knock. Guys, it's wrong, man. We got to stop doing that. Some jokes just aren't funny. And we need to call people on it when they're making those inappropriate jokes, when they're making jokes that clearly you know that's going to hurt that person. Why go there? We need to call people on that, let them know some jokes aren't funny. And when you say just kidding, it does not make your rude joke less offensive. When you say just kidding, it does not make your rude joke just offensive. Just kidding, it's like, really? Are you really just kidding? Because no, that actually hurts. We need to move away from just kidding. And we need to start calling people on it, letting them know, that's not funny. Dude, stop. We need to actually speak up and let people know that. And if we all go back to our schools with this, it's going to make a difference. We need to call people on it. We need to be like this guy and be like, whoa, don't go there. Look at that guy. Whoa, don't go there. Everyone say, whoa. Don't go there. Good, all right. Some of you getting real excited about this. There's someone up there. Everyone say, whoa. Now snap your finger and say, don't go there. Now roll your neck and say, oh, no, you did not. That's good. Oh, some of you are getting real good at this. That's great. Do me a favor. I want everyone to stand up on their feet right now. Everyone stand right up on your feet. I want to try something with you guys. I want to find out if you're really with me, all right? You in the pink, up on your feet. You in the pink, up on your feet. Yeah, I'm going to call you out if you ain't. I see you two over here. What, you think I ain't going to see you? I see you. Yeah, come on, sister. Here's what we're going to do. I want everyone to snap their finger. Roll your neck and say, don't go there. Good, I want you to put your right hand on your right hip and say, that ain't funny. Now I want you to take your left hand and pretend to take earrings. I say, don't make me take my earrings out. Now, some of you are not wearing earrings. This is not work. You can go ahead and sit down. Give yourselves a round of applause as you do so. Hey, did you do it too? Was Usher, were you doing it? Good. He said, don't go there. But he meant don't go through the emergency exits over here. That's different. Woo! Can I just confess something, guys? I feel really bad. I just got to get this off. I feel really, every time I stand here, I feel so bad because I feel like as I'm standing here, the front row is just staring straight up my nostrils. And it's just really uncomfortable. So can you guys like look at him or something? Because it's just awkward. When I'm back here, I'm okay, all right? Or if I'm like down like this, I don't mind. It's just when I'm standing up, it feels kind of awkward. I can't believe I did that. That's so weird. Okay. Sometimes you just got to go with it. All right, now, let's talk about some of the don't go there zones. You see, I think some things you can joke about with your friends, it's okay, but some things are like, don't go there. Everyone say, don't go there. I have a friend that likes to tease me when we play basketball. We trash talk, just me and my friend. I don't do it with other people. When I play with my friend, we trash talk. He'll be like, yo, man, you're going to miss your shot. You can't shoot. I'm like, oh, yeah? Well, you can't dribble. The only dribble you got is coming out of the corner of your mouth right now. Oh! And we go back and forth. We tease each other. But there are don't go there zones, things I would not tease him about, things he wouldn't tease me about. I'll tease him about his dribble, but I'm not going to tease him about his mama. That's a don't go there zone. He can tease me about missing my shot. He's not going to tease me about like my race, my skin color. That's a don't go there zone. So if he was teasing me, I'd be laughing. But if he then teased me about a don't go there zone, I'd stop laughing. It would probably look like this. We're playing ball. He's like, man, you got no kind of game. I'd be like, he's like, you can't even shoot. I'm like, he's like, and you're a black guy. I'd be like, because that is a don't go there zone. So let me throw it out to you, all right? What's another don't go there zone? Making fun of someone's mama, don't go there. What's another don't go there zone? Who's got one? Religion, everyone say don't go there. Let me pause here for a minute, hands down. Religion, I'm a Christian, okay? Now, I've got friends who are Jewish, I've got friends who are Muslim, I've got friends who are Hindu. I'm not gonna make fun of them because they're religion. I'm not gonna make fun of them because they're fasting for Ramadan or because on Friday they have to go home early to celebrate Shabbat Shalom. I'm not gonna make fun of that because I respect everybody. So religion is a don't go there zone, all right? If we play ball, I might diss you a little bit, but I'm not gonna talk about your religion. Again, say don't go there. What's another don't go there zone? Yes. That's so gay. Homophobic jokes. That's a don't go there zone. Everyone say don't go there. Hate speech is never acceptable. So the gay stuff, the other stuff, it's all hate, and we don't want hate. That's a don't go there zone. What's another don't go there zone? Someone with a hand up. I bet there's people with a hand up in the belt. Culture, thank you. Oh, you're from that country. I know people from that country. They do this and they do that, all that stuff. Yeah, what's another one? I'm looking in the balcony just in case I'm missing a hand. Yes, body image, beautiful. Now listen, this one's huge. Let me tell you about my daughter. I have a daughter. She's 5 years old, okay? She is adorable. You know what? You guys want to see a picture? Okay, some of you don't, but I'm still going to show you. I can't believe I'm taking out my cell phone right now. I'm not going to be able to show you guys. You're not going to be able to see it from there. Anthony, what are you doing? Okay. I'll show you, but most of you are only going to see like a micropixel, exactly. All right, so here, I'll show you guys. You've seen my nostrils so much. It's time to get even more. I don't know, can you guys see that? She's got afro puffs. How adorable is she? I feel so bad that you... Anyway, trust me, she's really cute. She looks like me, but a girl. Oh, wait, that's weird. Anyway, my daughter's 5 years old. She's adorable. Her name is Ella. All right, now Ella loves My Little Pony. My little pony, my little pony, da 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 da. Every day, My Little Pony, all right? So she's in a wonderful stage of life where everything is just like sunshine and rainbows. She'll draw pictures of a heart with a smiley face and a cloud with a smiley face. And then in the corner, you know what she draws? A sun, yes. And she's got a smiley face in her sun. And she thinks the world is just like sunshine and rainbows. And I feel bad. One day I'm going to bring her to a farm to see what a real horse looks like. Right now she thinks horses are blue and unicorns are real. And one day I'm going to bring her to a farm and be like, yeah, that's a real horse. That brown stinking beast? That's it? No! So I'm trying to keep her innocent as long as I can. It gets awkward because sometimes, you know, she'll, actually, I'm not going to tell you that. Okay, yeah, I will, because I opened it up. She'll have the My Little Pony figurines. You know, she's got little figurines. Sometimes when we're out, her hands are full. She'll be like, Daddy, hold this, and she'll put it in my pocket, and I'll forget it's in there. And later I'm like hanging out with my boys. I'm like, yeah, let's go. I take my keys out, Rainbow Dash comes flying. Oh, yeah. Dude, are you a brony? That can be awkward. Anyway. So my daughter, she's amazing, 5 years old, so innocent, beautiful. And the thing that breaks my heart is I know one day she's going to be in grade 9. One day she's going to be in high school. Even grade 7 and grade 8, I think about this, that she'll be walking down the hallways in her school one day, and my daughter, my angel, as she walks down the school, there's going to be a group of guys posted up against a locker like this, watching her walk by, staring at her body. How about her? You think she's hot? Nah, not really. Nah, she needs to lose some weight. And not just guys. I know she'll be hanging out with her girlfriends. And they'll be looking at her and being like, how come you're too big here, too small here? You need to gain weight here, lose weight there. And my daughter might start hating herself, all because of what people are saying about her body image and about her appearance. And I just think, man, wouldn't it be terrific if we would all agree there's some things you should joke about, but some things are off limits. And a woman's body is one of those things that we shouldn't be joking at. We shouldn't be pointing out with our friends. That everyone should come to school knowing that they're going to be respected, and that includes their body. Can we just all agree on that? Do you guys agree with me on that point? Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, so body image is a don't go there zone. You know, for me, what made me really insecure when I was in school, it was my skin. I used to get acne like crazy. Even now I'm like 30, I still get pimples, drives me nuts. But when I was in high school, it was really bad. And I'd wake up in the morning and like try to figure out, okay, which side of my face is better today, all right? This is my good side. I'm gonna try to show this side to everyone, you know? I'm walking down the hallway, someone's like, hey, Anthony. I'm like, hey, how you doing? It's awkward, man. It was the worst. And when someone points out the very thing that you're trying to hide, oh, it's the worst thing in the world. And honestly, if we just all agree not to go there and accept people the way they are, everyone's life is going to be better. So I'm really glad you brought that up. How about a couple more? A couple more don't go there zones. Religion, we got body image, we got culture. What's another don't go there zone? Financial situation, absolutely. Your family's so poor they can't even, yes. Physical disabilities, that's a great one. I'm pretty sure if you laugh at somebody who has a physical disability, I'm pretty sure that makes you evil. So don't do that. But also a learning disability. I can't tell you how many people have come to me and said, you know, I'm scared to put my hand up in class. And I'm scared to ask questions because people are going to make fun of me. How come you don't get that? So making fun of someone that's just like learns with a different style or has a learning disability. All right, one more. Yes. Family, absolutely. I said one more. You know what? I want to keep going. Yes. Your interests, yeah. Maybe you're into My Little Pony. What's wrong with that? Yeah. Stereotypes. I do a whole presentation in high school about stereotypes, and I take out a box and I talk about, we got girls in the box, and we got, oh, you're a black guy. That probably means this. That is so important, man. We got to break the stereotypes. Couple more. Yell it out. Relationships, absolutely. Another one. Prejudice, absolutely. Maybe another one. Mental, I'm so glad you said that. After that last presentation, mental health. We got to break the stigma and not make fun or make someone feel weird if they're going through something they want to talk to someone else about. These are the don't go there zones. We can joke about a whole lot of stuff, but some things it's like don't go there, all right? Now I want to play something on this whole tip of we can joke about a whole lot of stuff. I want to play a video clip for you right now. This was a YouTube video. You might have seen this, all right? This is a Japanese prank show. I love Japanese prank shows because like Canadian prank shows and American prank shows, they're all the same. It's like, you know, woman goes up to use a bank machine and a hand comes and goes like that. And she's like, ah. And there's like 15 different people, ah. Japanese prank shows, they take it to a whole other level, all right? Watch this. In this one, a guy's walking down the hallway, minding his own business, and then, dun, 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 watch this. That's not it. Watch this. love it, I love it, I love it. So remember, we can laugh about lots of stuff. You can have fun at school, but some things are a don't go there zone. If you hear someone making a joke about those things, you need to speak up and say, whoa, don't go there. Everyone say, don't go there. Very good. All right, guys, we're going to take a little break right now. Is it okay if I do a little freestyle rapping for you guys? Is that all right? All right, freestyle rap. Now I'm going to make up a rap on the spot to prove that I'm making it up. I'm going to let you choose what I rap about, all right? Some of you might have heard me speak before. You might know that I do this. I'm going to pick 3 people. You tell me anything on the planet you want me to rap about. You right there. Yep. The color purple. Like the book? You're not that deep, huh? You just mean like that's your color. All right, cool. I'm not trying to. Yes. What's that? My Little Pony. That's wonderful. That's going to be hard. I don't know like the names and everything. All I know is Rainbow Dash and Twilight Sparkle and Rarity and Princess Cadence and Princess Celestia. Okay, sorry. You one more right there. Oh, wait, let me come to the balcony. I always feel like the balcony gets left out. All right, you up there, yeah. Orangutans. Wow, that's great. I didn't see that coming. Orangutans, My Little Pony, The Color Purple. You didn't even know that was a book, huh? Yo, was it? No, I'm kidding. He knew. All right, I'm going to play a beat. If this is the worst rap you've ever heard in your life, it's your fault. You said orangutans, My Little Pony, and all right, check it. Hold on, I gotta rewind this beat. Rewind. Yeah. All right, do me a favor. I want you guys to clap your hands like this, all right? Clap your hands like that. I'm gonna try to freestyle rap. Let's see if we can hang. It's gonna be real fun. Check it out, goes like this. Hey yo, freestyle rap, boom, 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 bang. Starts in the balcony with an orangutan. I like those guys cause they hang from their tail. Sometimes they fall and we say fail. Anyway, I saw one dude at the zoo. I said orangutan, I said, hey, how are you? And homeboy looked at me, he started to spit. I was like, man, dude, yo, what's this? But anyway, yo, my name is Anthony, call me Tony. And no, I don't like My Little Pony, but right now I gotta freestyle twice as fast and tell you about all the names like Rainbow Dash. Now if you stay with me, if you have a little patience, I can tell you about Princess Celestia and Princess Cadence. But anyway, yo, it's on to the next topic. There was one more here, yo, I almost forgot it. Oh yeah, that's right, I gotta go around in the circle and talk about the color. The color is purple. Oprah Winfrey, I think she was in the play. That happened one time, I think it was like yesterday. But anyway, it happened on Broadway was great. But yo, the color purple, I didn't see it, I can't wait. I think it's a great book, yo, you should really take a look. And if you like the freestyle rap, please let me hear you clap. Thank you so much. Woo! Woo, that was fun. Thank you. Heard that. If you're on Twitter, holla at your boy. Anthony McLean. Team follow back. All right? ANTHONYMCLEAN. All right? Follow back. But here's the thing. If you're on Twitter, I want you to say something good about today. All right? I want you to tweet out something you learned today. I want you to tweet out something you're leaving with thinking about today. Because we want the impact of this day not to stay in this room. We want the impact of this day to spill out. We want it to be online. So maybe there's something that Aaron shared, something you're going to hear this afternoon. I want you to tweet it out. I love that. All right? Very good, very good. Okay, now, let's talk about bystanders. Now, I know you guys know this. But if you see someone else getting hurt, you see someone else getting bullied, you see someone else getting humiliated, if you do nothing, you are part of the problem. If you do nothing, you are part of the problem. And I want to give you 3 things you can do to be part of the solution. This is sort of as we're wrapping up here. 3 things you can do to be part of the solution. Number 1 is you can stand up and tell someone, yo, that's not funny. Hey, leave him alone. Now, I want to acknowledge that this can be really awkward to stand up and say something. I want to acknowledge that. And I also want to tell you something. There's a time when it's safe to stand up, and there's a time it's not safe. If you're in a situation you think if I step in right now, this person's going to turn on me, then maybe that's not the right time. But you know what? You can go to that person one-on-one. Maybe later that day say, hey, listen, you know, earlier today, like, I think you're really funny and everything, but that just went too far. Maybe it's your friend that does stuff and you need to have a conversation with them. It doesn't have to be some dramatic confrontation in front of everyone. It can just be a one-on-one conversation. All right, so standing up is a good thing to do, all right? Now, sometimes it's not about standing up. Sometimes the best thing you can do is just to reach out to the person that's hurt. Everyone's talking about this girl's hair, how ugly it is because she got some new hairstyle. You go over to her and say, hey, you know what? I like your hair. Forget what everyone's saying. You know, there's rumors going on about this guy at your school. You can go over to him and say, hey, forget the haters, all right? Reaching out and letting people know that you have their back, man, what a difference that makes. Not just in person, but online too. Everyone's saying junk about this person on Facebook, if anyone's even on Facebook anymore, I don't know. You can be the one to post a comment on there and be like, hey, you know, don't listen to what other people are saying. Believe in yourself, whatever. I see this happen sometimes on Ask FM. I see a lot of trouble on Ask FM too. When it's anonymous, I just think it's too much drama. I'm not a fan. But anyway, I do see people reaching out and being like, hey, forget what people are saying. That's one of the best things you can do is to reach out and support people. All right? All right, and the last one I have here is tell someone. Now, I have a picture of a burglar up there, all right? And I'll tell you why. Every time I tell people, tell someone. At your school, someone's being hurt, tell a teacher, talk to somebody. People are like, nah, that's snitching. I don't want to be a rat. And I hear it over and over again. And I realize something. You know what? It's really not snitching, and I'll tell you why. Imagine you're sleeping, 2 o'clock in the morning. All of a sudden, you hear a window smash in your house. You get up out of bed, you're like, yo, what was that? You walk down the hallway, you look downstairs, you see a robber entering your house. You're like, oh, snap. Now, you see him, he doesn't see you. You run back to your bedroom, close the door really quietly, you take out your phone, you dial 911. Wait a minute. I don't want to snitch on that guy. Let him do his thing. Yo, the Xbox is in the basement. But you got to unplug it from here. I'll help you. Hold on. No one would do that. Why? Because when you call the cops, you're helping to protect your house. And guess what? That's what Crime Stoppers is all about. We want to protect our communities. We want our communities to be safe. But we got to break the stigma around if you report something, you're a snitch. That is not true. There's a difference between reporting, which is a good thing, and ratting, which is just like, you know, someone's chewing gum and you're not allowed to chew gum in your school, and you go up to the teacher like, hey, he's chewing gum. I think it's Hubba Bubba. But it might be Bubblicious, I don't know. Come smell it with me, we'll figure. That's just annoying, all right? You're just trying to get someone in trouble for something small. That is snitching, I guess. But guys, man, if someone's being hurt, you need to tell someone, all right? That's what this is all about. You can be a hero just by telling someone, all right? So that's a real good thing. So those are 3 I want you to remember. Stand up, reach out, tell someone. All right, guys, we're going to wrap things up. But what I want to do to wrap things up, talk about one more thing. And that it's actually not even talk about one more thing. Different types of bullying. We've talked about a lot today. Let's just wrap up by talking a little bit about cyberbullying. I want you guys to remember, what you post online can't really be erased. Because once it's like in the cloud, there is a record of it. Even if you delete it on your phone, someone else deletes it on their phone, there's still a record of it up there. You know, you got to be real careful. People, even on Snapchat, they're like, it's going to be gone in 7 seconds, but you don't realize how easy it is to take a screenshot without that person getting the note that you took a screenshot. It's very easy to get around that, all right? So don't think that things are temporary. Don't think that, because once it's out there, it's out there. It can haunt you for life. It's kind of like getting a tattoo. I see some people get a tattoo. I'm like, yo, do you really want that on your body for as long as you live? Like, really? I saw a girl with a tattoo of a shark eating a baby. And she put it on her armpit. Isn't that just weird? You know what? If you don't believe me, check this out. Booyah. Shark, baby, armpit. All right, now that is just bad. Now look, she looks happy, so hey, it's all good. I bet she goes to parties and she's like, da-da, 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 headlock. So I guess it's all good, man. but you just got to make sure you want this on your body for life. It's the same thing, believe it or not, when you post something online. Before you post that Twitter comment, you got to think, would I want this to be seen by my teacher? You know, there was, at the last Olympics, a Greek Olympian who got kicked off the Olympic team. You know why? Not because she wasn't fast enough, she wasn't good. She got kicked off because she made a racist joke on Twitter. She trained her whole life. This was her dream since she was a kid. And she got kicked off the Olympic team during the Olympics because something she posted on Twitter. Guys, this is your digital footprint. You are leaving a trail. And you got to think, do I want this affecting me? Let me drive this home with a story. I know a guy, 21 years old, real smart, real nice guy too. And when he was in grade 11, all he liked doing was gaming. He was like hardcore game. Xbox Live ranked way up there, right? Real cool guy. And his mom said, listen, all you like doing is gaming. Why don't you find a job where you can get paid to make and play video games? And this guy said, you can do that? So they looked it up. They found a course in college called software engineering. He signs up for this course, and he works real hard. He is at the top of his class. And they make apps and video games and all this stuff in this course. And he does so well in the class, and the professor thinks he's so talented, the professor sets him up for a job interview for a company in Waterloo that makes video games and apps. So now he's going for this job interview. He's about to get hired to become a video game developer. He just can't believe it. This is his dream. But he's got to get through the job interview. And they're asking him all these tough questions. They're like, okay, all right, if you make an app for the Android device, what modifications need to be made in the software coding for that app to work on the iTunes platform? And this guy's like, oh, well, this is more of an open source. This is a lot of regulations here, so you got to make sure that you modify to meet the regulation. And he explains the whole thing. He knows all this stuff inside and out. So they're really impressed with him. They ask him all these questions. He knows everything. At the end, they're looking through his portfolio. They're like, you know what? We like you. One final question. He's like, oh, man, this is going to be hard. This is going to be hard. What's it going to be? They say, how do you spell your last name? He's like, and he spells his last name. They're typing it in a computer. He's thinking, I'm getting hired, but they're typing it into Google. And they're looking him up online. And they find his old Facebook page. He hasn't been on for a while. And they start scrolling through his Facebook page right in front of him. And he's thinking in his mind's eye, he's trying to remember, what have I posted on there? Is this going to be all right? He's getting all nervous thinking, is there anything? He's thinking, no, I don't think it's anything. Oh, no. Then he remembers. There's this album from grade 11 called The Party. He's thinking, please don't find it. Please don't find it. They click on The Party. He's like, oh, man. They see all these photos of him at this party doing all this stuff he shouldn't have been doing. They see it. They say, hey, thanks, but no thanks. And he lost the job. Not because he didn't know his stuff. Not because he didn't have good grades. He lost the job because of his digital footprint. It's crazy, but that's the world we're living in today. So before you post stuff online, just stop and think, would I want this to be affecting me forever? All right? Awesome. Okay, guys, we're going to wrap things up. Let's just remember real quick what we talked about today. Remember, not everything is bullying. So don't leave here and think like everything that happens is bullying, okay? Also, remember, your school's only going to be as good as you make it. And it's up to you guys to bring that change and bring all the stuff you learned about today, bring it back to your school. I'm already seeing some people tweeting right now about things that you learned today. And that's what's amazing, all right? So let's spread this message. Make sure it doesn't stop here. Also, remember, you don't have to be friends with everyone, but you just have to be friendly. There's someone that feels invisible. You can make a big difference in their life. Just saying, hey, just smiling. Remember, some jokes aren't funny. We're going to stand up. We're going to say, whoa, don't go there. Everyone snap your finger, roll your neck, and say, oh, no, you didn't. Yeah, you need to bring that attitude back to school, all right? Now, don't do that to your teacher. Oh, no, you did not. No, that's not going to work for you, all right? Good. Remember, bystanders, if you do nothing, you're part of the problem. So stand up, reach out, or tell someone. And finally, remember, different types of bullying. Cyberbullying is special, especially. What you post online is going to haunt you forever. So think before you click. And I guess if there's one more thing I want you guys to consider, is that if you do decide to get a tattoo, don't get a shark eating a baby and put that bad boy in your armpit. All right, guys, is it okay if we wrap things up with one more rap song? That all right? All right, this is a song that I wrote. I wrote it about bullying. I wrote it so that people would remember that whole idea of standing up, of reaching out, and of telling someone. And I think that's a perfect way to wrap things up today, all right? So the song is called Stickerhead. You'll find out why it's called Stickerhead in a minute, all right? And it goes a little something like this.
Stand up, reach out, tell someone.
Yeah, you guys can clap your hands like this, all right? We're gonna wrap things up, Crime Stoppers. It's been real. Check it out. It goes like this. I got a sticker on my head. Go ahead, you can read it. They call me that name, then they say they don't mean it. They laugh like they think it's the funniest. I got my lunch money stolen. You can call me the hungriest, all alone in the cab. Just me at the table. Yeah, my old friends left when I got my new label. I'm a loser now, official, the bottom of the barrel. Cause I don't smoke or drink and I guess I got the wrong apparel. In dark shades, I cruise the hallways, try to avoid certain corners. Cause what they may say, those words in your mouth must taste good. I hear it every day, I even see it on your Facebook. I can't get away, it follows me home. Instagram, Twitter, text message, my phone. I feel helpless, I'm reaching out to you. You're the bystander, what you gonna do? You can,
reach out, tell someone.
Tell you what, guys, Crime Stoppers, this has been real. Take everything you learned today, go back to your school, and be the change you want to see in the world. God bless you guys. Thank you very much, all right? Peace.
Well, do we enjoy that? We knew you would. There's never a dull moment with Anthony around, that's for sure. Once again, Crime Stoppers of York Region would like to express their sincere thanks to Anthony for joining us here today, and we hope to see him back again for other years. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Well, if you enjoyed the first half, you're really going to enjoy the second half. Our next presenters have been with us before. It's a group called Unity Charity. Yeah. A quick little bio here. Unity Charity engages and empowers youth to be role models and leaders in their community. Unity engages youth 10 to 18 by implementing school and community programs, helping youth positively express their stress and develop skills for success. Unity empowers youth to make better choices as leaders, mentors, and positive community role models. More productive citizens, safer schools, healthier communities. So that sounds like a theme that we've had throughout today, and it's going to continue. Without any further ado, I present Unity Charity.
Let's do a little call and response. When I say yo-yo, you say what up, yo-yo? Yo-yo? You guys doing good? My name is Lishai. This is JV over here.
What's going on, y'all? How you doing? How you feeling right now? All right.
So as mentioned, we are representing Unity today. Unity engages young people like yourselves to be mentors, to be leaders in your communities. We travel all across the country. We're in Halifax, we're in Calgary, we're in Fort McMurray. But this right here is our home ground. Unity started just a little bit along the way in Thornhill. So we want to make sure that you guys are the most loud and the most live audience that we have ever experienced up until today. Sound good?
All right, so if you're a fan of hip-hop in the building, let me hear you say, whoop, whoop. Let me hear you say, ah, ah. Let me hear you say hip-hop. Hey, yo, when I say hip, y'all say hop, say hip. Hip. And when I say unity, y'all say charity. Unity. Unity. Hey, y'all make some noise. Put your hands together for my main man, a freak with the beats. His name is Killer Beats, y'all. I'm so amazing. Amazing. Make some noise, y'all.
Hey, what you doing down there? I'm gonna call the cops.
Calling out cars, calling out cars. Get the canines.
And that's exactly how it happened. A lot of my friends got arrested. They got some pretty serious charges. That's why now I focus on painting when I have permission.
What? That's a crazy story, sir, for real. Kind of crazy, for real.
Yeah, right. I didn't believe that crap, man. Shoot.
You don't believe me? Well, I'll prove it to you. Later on in the day, I'll get some artwork and show you. But for now, I want you to continue working on your projects. Remember, it's worth 40% of your mark. 40% of your mark. It's a big one. And it's due at the end of the day. So, Killa, you're going to work with JV. And Lishai, you're going to work with Sean. Remember, it's due at the end of the day.
Yo. Nah. Nobody's working on my girl, bro. Yo, it's my girl, B. You're not doing my girl, yo.
Whoa. Someone has some insecurity
Yo,
issues.
go in the waste boy over there, B.
Yo, Reggie, the teacher told me I have to work with
He can help
her.
us on the assignment. It's so good.
It's not that serious.
All right, you really want to work with us?
Sure.
All right, yo, if you want to work with us, just
what? Really?
Yeah, yo.
Like right now?
Yeah, yo.
You're serious?
Are you man enough, though?
Man enough. Guy, yo, I'm a big man guy. How you mean? All right, come. Yo, what's up, my man?
Hey.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad. Yo, check this out. I got a joke for you. You like jokes?
Yeah, I love jokes, man.
Wicked. I think you're going to like this one a lot for real, though.
All right.
Okay.
Ready. I'm ready.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
My red shiny shoe.
Your red shiny shoe who?
My red shiny shoe in your chest, son.
Yo, it's a man's kick still. Jeez.
Nicely done. Guys, let's just chill. Let's go to lunch.
All right.
Yeah, all right, go.
So what happened? You were supposed to call me
so
the
anyway,
other day.
yo, I'm trying to get that new
Hey, I'm
DVD.
talking to you. Why are you ignoring me?
Anyways.
Just know him. I know that you have a temper. Just
He's a weird guy, yo.
What do you want?
Pension.
Anyways, so let's talk about this assignment. You're already on probation. I don't
Yeah,
want you
yo,
to
what
mess
time you
around.
coming to thing after school, yo?
Get out of here.
Are you dumb, dog?
Yo, Lisha. Yo,
What
you
up?
told me you wrote like a poem or something the other day. You wanna
Yeah,
say
I
that
have
to me?
this new poem. You know, it's not ready yet, but let me show you what I got.
Say
Can
it's
you
a
give me
cipher
beat?
tape.
Yeah, I got you for sure.
Check it, and I'm feeling really nice though. And I'm chilling with the wife though.
And I'm like,
What are you doing?
I just wanted to jam with you guys.
No, we don't want to be friends with you. Get
yo,
out of here.
move out of here, no guy.
Whoa. I wish there was an audience to clap for you right now. That was amazing.
What was that?
Oh, you guys saw that?
That was
kind of
so
dope, too.
Oh, thanks.
Yo, bro. That was
amazing.
mad crazy.
Why are you moving around like a gummy worm, dog? Yo, you look like an idiot, bro.
Listen, don't even worry about JV. Don't worry about him. Listen, what's your name? Charlie?
Sean.
Oh, okay, Sean, yeah.
Yeah.
Yo,
Well,
my
listen.
bad about the whole, yo.
Oh, no, it was a good joke. I'm going to use it on you next time.
Oh,
Okay. Yo, Killer, give us a sec. Cool? Just give us 1 sec. I'm sorry about being kind of a jerk to you before. I was just like, you know, my boyfriend, he puts a lot of pressure on me, and sometimes I just...
No, it's okay. Don't worry.
Maybe, you know, we can chill. Maybe you can
Show you
hang
nice
out with
moves?
us. Yeah, yeah.
All right, yeah, let's do
Okay,
that.
cool. Let's start fresh. Let's chill. Yo, JV. JV!
End of scene 1. Make some noise, y'all. Once again, I go by the name of Killer Beats. Killer Beats. And my real name is Charles. I'm going to share with you guys a little bit how I got into this beatbox thing, okay? Now, I grew up in a very, very musical family. My mother used to listen to everything from country to gospel to jazz to blues, everything, you know? And my father used to sing in an a cappella band. But my biggest influence as a kid was my cousin because he was a beatboxer, right? But back in those days, you know, we never had no computer. There was no YouTube back then that you could just, you know, just type in beatbox tutorial or learn. Like, so pretty much the music that we grew up listening to is how we develop our style, right? Fast forward. I'm in high school now, about 14 years old, and I'm feeling myself, you know? I think I'm pretty good because I'm going from high school to high school, calling other beatboxers, battling them, and winning. So I thought I was pretty good, right? That's until I heard about this guy by the name of Rozelle. For those of you who don't know who he is, he's pretty much the first beatboxer to combine singing and rapping and beatboxing all at the exact same time, right? So when I heard that, I was like, yo, like, this guy's crazy. Like, how is that even humanly possible to do? So I would go home every day after school, just practice, just try to figure it out. I show my boys, you know, and they let me know that it just didn't sound too right. Like, yo, son, you ain't anything, bro. You ain't gonna be as good as Rozelle, you whack. Might as well quit by your head, blah, blah, blah. It made me feel kind of bad, you know, because it's supposed to be my homies, right? But I never let their harsh words get to me. You know, I still make sure I went home and practice every day. And eventually, I cracked the code of beatboxing and talking at the same time. And I came up with a little something like this. Check it out. How many mics do I rip on the daily? Many money. See me say many, many, many. How many mics do a rip on the belly? Many money, so me say. How many mics do a rip on the alley? Bunny, so me some money, bunny. How many mics do a rip on the alley? On the alley. How many mics do a rip? 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 Just a little something like that, you know? So that being said, no matter what it is that you guys like to do, it could be cooking, dancing, sports, drawing, whatever it is, don't ever let anybody discourage you from doing what it is that you love, from what it is that is your passion. All right? Thanks for listening to me, y'all. Respect.
Hello, good afternoon, guys. Hi. My name is Sean. So I'm a dancer for Unity Charity, and as well I dance with a crew called the Moonrunners. And as you can see, this is our job. Dancing is my passion. And also coming and speaking to a bunch of group of you guys like this is what I do for a living. But my story is a little different. I wasn't always like the dancer kid. I was always known as the shy kid. Like my first 2 years of school, I never said a word. So imagine first whole year I didn't say a word. Next year, teacher calls my house, ring. Hey, Sean should be talking by now. He's getting kind of old. And my parents are like, what? What do you mean he should be talking? They're like, yeah, he hasn't spoken all year. And they're like, what do you mean? He talks all the time. So they asked me, what's wrong? And I said, I'm just really shy. And so they said, hey, today you have to talk at school. A year and a half later, I go up to my teacher, I'm just like, bye. And then I leave. And my parents are like, did you talk today? I was like, yeah, I said bye. And so from then on, I was known as the quiet, shy kid, all the way through elementary school, all the way to high school. And this is my last year. Every day after school, I just go home, whoosh, listen to Michael Jackson, do a little 1-2 in the mirror. And then I'm walking down the hallways, and all of a sudden I hear music, and I'm just like, okay, what's happening here? All the school dances passed. I never got to dance or whatever. And I was like, I see a bunch of guys dancing in the hallway. I was like, oh, this is my chance to, show what I could do. And I start walking over, and my body freezes, and I just start shaking. I'm like, oh my gosh, don't do it. I'm scared. No one's forcing me. No one's saying anything. I'm just shaking in a little corner, scared. And all of a sudden, I see the new girl walks by. I'm just like, jeez. I look at them, and after I look at the dancers, and I'm like, wow, these guys are horrible, right? So I'm like, I can't let her think this is how we dance here. So I just, I walk into the corner and just and then I do a little thing, and then put my head up, and the whole hallway's crowded, maybe 100 kids, and they're all filming on the camera, like, yeah, go Sean. I'm like, I didn't know you knew my name. And then, so they're just filming, and then after, they put on YouTube, and back in the day, YouTube wasn't that popular, so I had 15,000 views in the first week, and I was like, oh, maybe this dancing thing isn't so scary after all. And I'd just be walking down the hallway, and kids are like, yeah, Sean, you're my hero. And I'm like, yeah. So from that, when I broke out of my shell, I was able to do things for TV, for movies, commercials, even travel the world just for dancing. People say, hey, can you come here, teach? And I'm like, sure, I've never been across Canada. So what I'm trying to say is, I'm not trying to say, hey, dancing will unlock all your dreams, But find your passion, and don't ever let someone tell you, hey, you can't do it. Find your passion, and it'll unlock the best of you. Now, it didn't make me the best dancer in the world, but it unlocked my fear to talk in front of people. I'm not as shy anymore. And just follow your passion, because now I'm just speaking, dancing for a living, and I'm happy as can be. So thank you.
Yeah, so Killer, we got to work on this assignment. 40%.
You're on probation. Though, man. I had 7 subs.
I know, but it's due at the end of the day.
Yo, Alicia, let me talk to you.
JV, what happened? I was looking at you.
Let me talk to you. Oh, move, dog. Yo, come over here for a minute.
I'll catch you guys up. I'll catch you guys up.
Yo, move, dog.
JV, what happened? I was looking for you at lunchtime.
Yo,
What'd
you were looking for me at lunchtime?
I was just talking to that guy and then you just disappeared.
Yeah, I disappeared. Yo, I see you arm in arm with the new boy walking around. You know what I mean? Yo, what kind of thing is that? It's disrespectful.
Are you being serious?
Yo, I'm your man, right? You're supposed to respect me, right?
What happened to you? You used to be such a sweet guy, and all the time you're talking down to me, you never respect me, you never come to any of my shows. I support you. I know that you're a dope MC and a dope poet. When was the last time you asked to hear any of my poetry?
Yo, I don't listen to poetry because your poetry is whack. I win slams. When's the last time you won something?
You know what, JV? Sit down. Let me show you something.
All right.
All right, guys. You feel me? You with me? If you hear something you like, snap your fingers. Sound good? What speaks to you? Do you exist in the breath between paint and canvas? What graffiti first illuminated your existence? The paintbrush an extension of your fingertips? Do murals make your heart skip a beat? An empty alleyway whispers to you softer than a lover's invite? What speaks to you? At midnight, hunched over your desk, writing verse with an urgency that shocks your body, something electric, phosphorescent, traveling through you, moving so deep in the ink, if you don't write it down fast enough, it will be trapped in the pen forever. What speaks to you? Who has djembe fire in your mouth? No matter that your mother tells you to find a real job, you know that there is something so vital about the orchestra of your mouth, the beatbox in your chest. You even hear music in the silence between the notes. You invent new ways for sound waves to puncture the indifference of your existence, that one thing that reminds you that you are more than just a bag of bones and DNA. That one thing that makes you rise every day, give thanks every day, that one thing that speaks to you. When your body unravels like ancient prophecy on the dance floor, when gravity no longer holds you back and everyone forms a circle around you to bear witness, to pay homage to the genius of you who can spin serpentine silhouette with your hips, who can pop, lock, and drop with more spark than flint against steel, something sacred resurrected when you sing the blues. Humming with more passion than some may experience in a lifetime, composing alchemy with baritone bass lines, but the melody speaks to you of Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, Nina Simone. You are the jazz that never sleeps. You are the constant cause for the neighbors threatening to call the police. Turn down the music. But how do you turn down electromagnetic waves in the current of your bloodstream? Or slow down words that tumble from your lips like a volcanic iambic lyrical helix? How do you ask your body to be still when it's a metronomic pulse to the soundtrack of your being? When the rattling can of spray paint feels like freedom, what would you not give to tag your name to that feeling? What speaks to you? Of discipline and sacrifice, of courage and commitment. For some of us, art is not a place we travel to as real life passes us by. There is a difference between a vacation and a vocation. Living for what makes you breathe, it's not a luxury, it's a necessity. They call us starving artists not because we're broke, but because we choose to stay hungry for the art that feeds us, the life force that speaks to us. And all we have to do is listen. You know what, JV? I'm tired of you not listening to me in this relationship.
No, I'm tired of you walking around willy-nilly like you can just disrespect me, yo. You're my girl. Know your place.
I'm done with this. It's
over.
Oh,
you're not done with nothing, yo.
Don't touch me.
And yo, I thought I had him. Everybody was looking at him, and now I could beat him and bat him. See, he got me angry. So I reacted in a violent way. Well, hey, an eye for an eye is what the violence say. Hey, you can forget all that. I've had a violent day. Hey, haven't you ever wondered how the violent play? See, fighting is what I do. Fighting is who I am. Fighting is the one thing that made me a powerful man, and that's exactly what I want to be, because the powerful can. Forget about the things in life that I don't understand, like the reason that time and time again I always ran. Knowing he would catch me and I didn't have a chance, well, bam, bam, bam. And all that I saw was blood, a broken nose, and a deformed jaw. Yeah, it was worth it. I mean, you know, the man deserved it, but maybe not. You see, maybe his life was bad. He might be just like me and his life was sad, decided to fight me, and the power I thought I had was felt through my hands. See, violent moments lead to broken thoughts, covered up by braids, snaps, cornrows, or maybe locks. And then society turns its evil eye to me and spite of me. The good people just lose sight of me. I thought a chance to a good life was a right of me. I thought it might just be, but I was lied to. See, social conformities were warned to me, but not soon enough. and not with enough urgency. Now my mind and my body won't cooperate or work with me. It's hurting me to the point where now I feel worthless. See, that's where my hands and my fists go to work. And see, now we have a violent moment.
How you guys doing? You guys doing good? Give it up one more time for JV. He's not actually such a jerk in real life. He's actually a great guy. So I want to talk to you a little bit about my story. Can anyone guess where I'm from? Australia? England. England. Whoever said that, yes. I am from a very small community in northern England. Leeds. Anyone heard of Leeds United? Woo woo. So I'm from, what'd you say? The Train Museum. Yeah. I've been there. My little brother loves it. This is where I'm from Leeds. And within Leeds, I grew up in a very small white community. My mother was the only brown-skinned woman, and she experienced a lot of racism. She's from India, my dad's from England. And growing up, I didn't understand why she was always sad, but it's because she had no family. She was raising me and my brothers by herself because my parents divorced when I was pretty young. And she was experiencing a lot of racism, but she always did her best for me and my brothers. Every week, you know, we went to the library, we would take out books. She was always raising me and my brothers in this culture of learning and exploring our talents. So I was writing poetry from a very young age. And you know, when I was little, I thought I was the best poet in the world, and I started writing poems about dinosaurs. Any dinosaur lovers in the house? Be proud, dinosaur lovers. So I was into dinosaurs, and I remember in grade 8, I did this class talent show, and my hands were shaking. I was just really mad nervous, and I get up in front of my class, I do this dinosaur poem that I'm going to share with you right now, and you're going to have to give me some love because it's a little bit embarrassing, but still, give me some love afterwards. Or give me some love before, why not? I thought I saw a dinosaur buy a pair of slippers in a big shoe store. I asked him what he bought them for. He told me that his paw was sore, and what's more, began to roar and showed me what his teeth were for. I ran like mad across the floor and bolted through the shoe store door, and nevermore laughed out loud at a dinosaur. So I did this poem. I was in grade 8, remember? And I won the class talent show. I got my little sticker. I got first place. I was just so happy, you know? And that's the first time I did spoken word. And ever since then, my class called me the Dino Poet, which was kind of annoying. But anyways, I was happy. And that was the very first time. I went home, told my mother. She was always encouraging me. But now fast forward a little bit. All the years of my mother being a single mother and raising me and my brothers without any support eventually really got to her, and she had a breakdown. And when I say breakdown, I'm talking about her being in a psychiatric ward of a hospital under heavy medication. And I remember visiting her. This is when I was 15 or 16. I remember visiting her, and the woman who had raised me, this beautiful, strong, single mother who had raised me and who she'd been my entire world, she was no longer there. And I looked at her, and in that moment, something in me went very quiet. Something in me broke. I don't know if anyone has ever felt that way before, but it was the heaviest feeling in the world. And I carried that silence with me for so many years. In high school, I pretty much wrote all the time. Everywhere I went with my notepad, because you know how some people, they'll say, hip-hop saved my life, singing saved my life, art saved my life, whatever it is. I really believe them when they say that. It's not just an exaggeration, because if I didn't have my pen and my paper and my poetry during those months, I don't know what I would have done, because I was living with a mentally ill person. I was looking after myself, my brothers. No one knew what was happening at home because I didn't want social services to take my brother away from us. And this was the most difficult time in my life. But my poetry got me through. Now I'm going to fast forward again. I'm 23. I'm living in Canada. I discovered this thing called spoken word. Has anyone ever been to a spoken word slam? You all know what it is? A couple of people? Sweet. Well, I went to a slam. The same feeling I had when I was in grade 8 doing my dinosaur poem, the hands shaking, the armpits sweaty. I was a hot mess. But I got on stage, I did my poem, and I killed it. But more than that, I realized in that moment when I was sharing my poem with an audience of strangers, I was like, wow, you can take the words from the page, you can bring them to the stage, and you can bring them to life, and you can share them with other people. Because all these years, I'd just been writing for myself to keep myself sane and to keep myself safe. But now I'm sharing my words with other people, and it was empowering for me. So since then, you know, I've been able to travel all over North America with my poetry. My team came first place, the first Toronto team to ever come first place in the national slams in Canada. You know, Yeah, give me some love for that. Why not? My voice is on this commercial right now on MTV and other channels, and more than that, I think that for me, I found out that spoken word, which is in the hip-hop family, spoken word, for me, is healing. It's not just about entertainment. It's not just about having fun on the stage. It's about healing. And so I wanted to share that with you all, and I want to ask you again to keep the energy as hype as possible till the end of the show. The more energy you can give us, the more we give back. So on the count of 3, make some noise. 3, 2, 1.
Hey, what's the deal? What's going on? Hi. I'm Jordan, but people have taken to calling me JV, and I quite like that too, so I'm going to say hi, audience. You guys can say, hi, JV. Hi, audience. That felt nice. Okay, so I myself, just like the wonderful Lee Shai, who's one of my heroes, I am a spoken word poet. I grew up all around the GTA. When I say all around the GTA, I mean everywhere, from Scarborough to Oakville and everywhere in between. I grew up that way because my mother was 17 when she had my older sister, 18 when she had me. And I was born into poverty. And being born into poverty is a difficult space because as a child, you don't know what poverty is as a baby. And you grow older and your world around you is just normal. It's just normal. I didn't realize that I was poor. I didn't realize that I was going through a lot of crazy things with my family. So, as I became older, I became really wise. My father didn't hide me from anything, and neither did my mother. And so, when I was around 4 or 5 years old, my teachers would come home or call home and say, hi, your son Jordan is having some problems in class. His grades are okay, but every time somebody makes fun of him or steals his toy, he calls it racism and oppression. And we think that there may be something going on at home. And Mom was like, what? Something going on at home? Are you crazy? And so early on, I developed a problem where I could think about concepts that I wasn't emotionally mature enough to deal with. And that gave me high anxiety, and that gave me issues with my behavior. And I became very angry and very violent. And growing up, you know, I had certain family members who were not great influences on me, I must say, and would easily lead me down the wrong path. And so seeing how my mother was affected by poverty and my sisters were affected by poverty, I told myself at an early age that I wanted to be the opposite. That when I grew up, I wanted to be successful and I wanted to be a good person so that I could create the opposite effect that this poverty and these negative influences had on my family. And so when I got to high school, I started to really believe in myself. I stopped fighting, and I started to embrace spoken word poetry and drama and theater and film and all these beautiful art forms. And then when I got to my graduating year, I started a company called Spoken Heard. And I didn't realize it was a company back then, but I wanted to throw a poetry show at a jazz restaurant that my dad cooked at downtown. And I threw a poetry show, and it was crazy, and a whole bunch of people came through, and there was all these cameras and magazines, and I couldn't believe it. And my friends who organized the show with me, they were all completely shocked that we could actually put something together, and I was 17 at the time. And that company is now 3 years old, and we've grown so much just from me having an idea and deciding to believe in myself. I had the urgency of a childhood of poverty behind me to push me. I didn't give myself a plan B or a choice. I said, I'm going to be successful or I'm going to be nothing. And I'm still on my journey. And I got linked up with Unity Charity a few years ago, and I've been able to come and share my story and do motivational speaking and work with youth and teach other people how to, start expressing themselves too. And that's the thing I'm most passionate about, because I know my story was one that was really difficult. And I wish I could share all of it with you guys, but I can't. But I do know that all the things that I've been through are worth it if I can come in and inspire somebody or relate with somebody. And so what I have to say to you is I know sometimes you guys go through some things that are really, really crappy, some things you probably have never told anybody, or maybe 1 or 2 people, some things that may have broken your heart. But those things are the exact things that are necessary to turn you into the person that you're going to have to be, right? And so that's what I want you to know. Believe in yourself and believe in your story because you are an expert at just that. All right. Peace.
Yeah, so JV and I are done. We broke up.
What?
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, yo, let me talk to you, baby. Let me talk to you.
I told you I'm done. I don't want to speak to you.
Yo, what up?
Buzz off. Yo, come here, yo. Yo, move, yo. Let me talk to you. Come here. Yo, Bedrin.
Yeah?
I see how you're talking to my girl, eh?
What do you mean?
Why are you talking to my girl right now?
No, she was just like, hey, good job with the dance. Yeah.
Yeah, you want to get slumped in your face, bro?
I don't know what that means.
That means this, bro. Pow!
So, JV, why don't you explain to me in your own words exactly what happened today?
Yo,
JV, take it easy.
Shut up, man. Shut up. Yo, he's bleeding.
He's bleeding. What are you doing?
JV, is there anything going on at all at home or maybe at school that you'd like to talk about?
Why don't you do something with
I
yourself?
told you to do the dishes. I told you to
I'm
take
not
out
doing
the
dishes.
trash.
Why don't you cook for something?
When was
Like,
the
I'm
last
tired
time
of
you brought home
macaroni
a
and cheese.
paycheck?
What?
When was
Yo,
the
would you
last
two
time
just shut up? Stop fighting! I can't even think! I'm so sick of this, man.
You know, JV, if there's anything at all going on, I'm here to listen.
I'm sorry, Jordan, but I'm gonna have to fail you out of my class for the third time. Like, you're a good kid, but you need to apply yourself, because this is really bad.
Go ahead, yo. I don't care. You don't know me. You don't know my struggle. You don't know what I gotta do to survive out here. You wanna fail me? I don't care.
Well, it looks like we're out of time for today, but I do want to leave you with something. You see, in life, we all have to make choices. And quite frankly, you're the only one that can make these decisions. So, JV, I'm asking you, do you want to change?
Do you want to change? JV, do you want to change? Do you want to change? JV, do you want to change?
Yes! I wanna change, but I don't know how.
Yeah, so JV and I broke up. We're done. Yeah.
Hey, yo, baby, let me talk to you.
I told you I'm done with you. I don't want to speak to you.
Yo, buzz off, B. Yo, come over here. Yo, let me talk to you for a minute, B.
Me?
Yo, I see you talking to my girl, bro.
What are you talking about?
Yo, why are you talking to my girlfriend?
She was just like, hey, good job dancing.
Yo, are you
Gave me
dumb?
some
She's trying
respect.
to give you some respect, yo. Yo, you want to get slumped in your face, bro?
I don't know what that means, man. Just give me a hug. One of these?
All right, man. Be careful, yo.
Come here.
You're not that close.
All right.
Come on.
Come on. I'll go hang out with these guys.
Hey, JV.
What's up?
I know you, and I know that that must have taken a lot for you to, to shake hands with him and be cool like that. So I just want to let you know that I appreciated that.
Yeah, I figured, you might want to, you see that I'm trying to change, so you could, like, you know what I mean, like, because, like, I really, like, like, you and me.
What are you trying to say, JV?
Like, we could be together again, like, just give it a second shot, you know?
What do you guys think? Should I get back together with him?
Yeah.
Nah, man.
Over the back, what do you guys think?
Nah, man.
JV?
Nah.
Yeah.
Nah.
You know what?
Nah, man. Nah. Nah.
You're my first love. I've never felt this way about anyone before. And I just think that I respect myself too much to get back together with you right now. Are you okay with just being friends for now?
Yeah. Friends, we could do that.
All right, cool. Let's go to class. Let's chill.
All right, just let me get one.
Yeah, maybe not.
Friend zone. All right, give it up if you're having a good time. Make some noise. All right, so just like everybody else has done, I'm going to step out of character for a bit and tell you a bit about myself. So my name is Jesse. I go by the name of Fade, and I'm a graffiti artist, as you can see behind me on the screen. What's more than that, though, is that I'm a legal graffiti artist. So what that means is that I paint where and when I have permission, and I do it as a profession. So I'm not that guy that's in the alleyways at nighttime with my hoodie on and my backpack, you know? I'm not that guy. But I've been painting for about 12 years, and I got into graffiti in high school. But one of the things about my high school experience is that I had a bit of an anger problem. I found myself getting into a lot of fights, getting suspended. It started to affect my grades. I had a counselor at the time. I was put into anger management, and none of that stuff was the solution for me. So it was a very interesting time. Around the same time, though, I also met a friend of mine who got me into graffiti. I had seen his sketchbook, and I had seen these letters in it that I had never seen before. And I wanted to do it because I was into drawing, so I kind of stole his sketchbook and started copying what he was doing, but he got mad at me because, like, I stole his sketchbook, right? So some time passes, and he saw that I actually wanted to learn how to do this. So he took me under his wing and started to teach me how to do the craft. Then I noticed I'm starting to make friends. Then I noticed girls are starting to talk to me like, hey, your artwork's so cool. And I'm like, this is awesome. Maybe if I draw pictures of roses and flowers, they'll start to like me. That didn't happen. So some time passes, fast forward a bit, and I remember this one instance where I'm sitting in the cafeteria having what I call a drawing session. So me and my homie are exchanging different concepts and techniques. And he says to me, you know, Jesse, I see you walking around angry all the time. You're upset, you're fighting. Why don't you just draw when you feel this way? So I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, how on earth is a pencil and a book going to help me when I feel like I'm going to fight someone? So I ignore his advice. Some more time passes, and I remember another instance where I'm sitting in my math class, and I get a phone call from my mom, which is weird because she normally wouldn't call me at school. So I asked the teacher if I can answer the phone. Sure enough, she lets me. So I walk in the hall, pick up the phone. I'm like, hey, Mom, what's going on? I thought I forgot my lunch or something. But when I answered the phone, when I heard my mom's voice, she was hysterical. She was crying and panicking, and I had never heard her like this before. So those feelings that I know all too well are coming back. I'm feeling my heart pumping. I'm feeling my chest beating, and I'm starting to get upset. And I'm like, Mom, what is going on? What happened? And she lets me know that my sister had been stabbed. Now, I knew who had done this to my sister. I was able to find out who did this and where I could find this person, and I wanted to get revenge. And one thing to know about that time is that at that time I was hanging around certain people and had access to certain things that would have made getting revenge very easy for me. So without saying anything to the teacher, walking to class, I grabbed my bag because I want to go do what I want to do. So I'm walking, and I don't know if in any of your schools there's kind of one area where people would hang out, but in my school that was the front atrium. So I'm walking towards the exit, but I noticed that it's completely empty. But I don't care because I want to go do what I want to do. And the strange thing that happened is the closer I got to the exit of the school, the stronger I heard my friend's voice playing in my head, telling me to draw. Just draw, Jesse, just draw. So I take a second to stop and I think about it. I look around. It's completely empty. I had my sketchbook and my markers on me. So for the first time, I really took my friend's advice. What happened is that for the rest of that period, I was drawing, not because what I was doing was amazing or anything like that, but because I finally found what worked for me. My anger, my hostility, the negative feelings, they faded into the white pages of my sketchbook. I'm happy to say that my sister's alive and well today, and later that day, the person who had done that to her was arrested. Now, the reason I bring all this up is because at that time, me choosing to focus on my passion at such a critical point in my life, it helped me to avoid making a decision that would have landed me in jail for the rest of my life. And it ideally set me on the path of being the artist that I am today. So through my passion, I've had many opportunities. My first actually being from a police officer. I worked with a guy named Scott Mills, who gave me my first legal graffiti opportunity. To this day, we're still very close with each other. He helped me get my first job in the arts. And I've just been able to have a lot of great experiences, like traveling to other countries, traveling across Canada. But what's most important for me is situations like this, where I'm able to talk with and connect with youth and people of all walks of life and really just share a bit about myself, because you never know who you're going to meet and who you're going to resonate with. So if there's anything I want to leave with you today, it's that whenever you're in a situation where you're feeling close to the edge or emotions are running high, I encourage you to focus on something you're passionate about, because the power that you're going to unlock and the potential you unlock within yourself is truly incredible. But I do have to get back to class, so you're going to have to excuse me. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you can come in and take your seats. So at the beginning of the day, I did tell you that I had some artwork to show you, so I've just got that on the screen here. And then after I do the presentation, I'll have you present your projects. So this first piece you see here, it says Phade, P-H-A-D-E, and this was a commission I got for a restaurant in Toronto a few years ago. Now all this work you see is legal, it was done with permission. So this piece is Samurai. It's my first attempt at doing a character with spray paint, and this was done on a BMX ramp at a BMX competition. This piece was done with a mural project that I was a part of, so it was a collaboration of artists, and this was done in a yoga studio in Scarborough, and this was done about 2 years ago as well. This piece says GI and B-Boy, and I did this with a friend of mine. We were teaching elementary school students how to use spray paint, so this is what we created in the process.
That's pretty sick.
Thank you.
Dope, man.
Portrait of Bruce Lee. I'm really into Bruce Lee. I painted this in Brampton for a festival they were having. So this was painted on a bridge that was defaced with graffiti, and they hired me to paint over the bridge. This is Jimi Hendrix. I did this inside of a homeless men's shelter downtown with another mural project I was a part of. And that's just another commission that I had as well. Phade, P-H-A-D-E, it's what I write for graffiti. This project was to raise awareness around the issues of homelessness, and this was done in Hamilton for a festival that they were having. And this is just the full wall. It was a collaboration with the guy that got me into graffiti. So Bubs and Phade is what the wall says. This piece says, this is Sade.
Wow.
Really into Sade, one of my favorite singers, and this was my first painting to be featured in an art show. So
She's sweet still.
Smooth operator.
Michael Jackson, this was my dedication to him soon after he had passed. I painted this at Queen and Bathurst. This is just some experimentation on canvas, so coming up with different concepts and techniques with spray paint on canvas. And I did this actually during a golf tournament, kind of, I guess, live entertainment. And this, Iron Core, Unity, and Phade, and this was actually done for a TV commercial that aired on Much Music and different media outlets. So that is the end of the slideshow.
Not bad. Not bad.
It's pretty dope, sir.
Thank you, thank you. Sir. And I hope you kind of believe that I did do some of that artwork now. But now that you've seen that presentation, I'm going to have you do your projects. So, JV, I'm going to have your group go first.
Yeah,
JV.
So basically what had happened was we was...
What happened was we worked together.
Yeah.
Oh, you've collaborated?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually, so we did a little group presentation.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I'll give you a few minutes to get ready, and then whenever you're ready, take it away.
Cool.
So hold on.
So what are you talking
We
about?
didn't do anything, so you have a plan, right?
Yeah, I have an idea. We could cipher.
Cipher.
Hip-hop thing.
Okay. All right, let me take care of this.
All right.
Let me take care. Okay, so you know how the project is on world culture?
Yes, that's correct.
Well, we're just going to show you a little bit about what our culture is.
Okay.
Hip-hop.
interesting. Nice, nice. Well, I'm looking forward to it, so whenever you're ready.
So dope, so dope. He's so dope, he's so dope.
If you see something in your back, make some
Check it.
What is this?
Yeah, we're gonna break your hip.
Break my hip?
So you're supposed to be teaching us mathematics, history, science. Like, you're too old for this.
Too old for this? All right, so, guys, sorry. I thought you said you're going to show me something old school, yeah?
We were going to show you something.
All right, well, check this out. See, back in my day, I used to get down a bit in ciphers, too. So let me show you something old school, all right? So why don't you give me a beat, maestro, and let me do my thing.
All right.
Maestro.
Dang.
Whenever I'm out here, the only one without a unity sweater. That's okay, cause I'm feeling really nice though. And I broke up with my wife though. But she don't like me no more. Out here and I'm feeling so poor without you. But that's okay, I shout you, cause you don't and I'll never doubt you. Check it. Hey yo, this is Lee Sean, make some noise. Say this is Lee Sean, make some noise. And this is Sean, make some noise. And that's Sean, make some noise. Put it up for Jesse, make some noise. AKA Flame, and what's up, make some noise. And this is Killer Beats, the Killer Streets, going it, get the eats off. Killer Beats, make some noise. We are Unity Charity, y'all. Make some noise for Unity Charity, y'all.
Well, what do we think of that? I just want to thank the guys again. As every time they've joined us before, the message is sincere, it's strong, and the way it's presented is unbelievable. Trevor's and I were sitting back here watching the guys on the floor, the girls on the floor, and thinking, oh, that must hurt so much. But well done, everybody. Fabulous.